5-4.
Just
Are
get
you looking to focus on
started.
quick scalps or longer structure plays today?
All right. Yeah, I'll jump into mine and see. But you can always remember, guys. You can tell him to disregard something. Yeah, yeah. He's ours. So the next step I'll go, guys. We're just getting logged in. Mr. Harrison, you're stupid. Uh, and we're just getting logged in, guys. We just got done with a pretty good session in the morning discussion wise and but yes, this is our company, nextstepalgo.com, co-founded by three of us. So myself, Paul, and Alex. And it's all web-based, Neo. So welcome, guys, on TikTok. Neo's been crushing it all day. I love the feedback that many of you guys are giving us. It's so good. And I'll tell you more importantly, those who are taking the survey at the end of the free trial, that are giving ideas, suggestions, right? There's a common area where you can say room for improvement. We want to know that, guys. We take that literal, and some things we can do, some things we can't, right? But it that's so important. So I do appreciate you guys for putting that in those comments. So but yeah, it's exciting to see what he's been able to do for people. So we're gonna keep on trucking, guys. Let me move this over. I just gotta get my screen set up. Hold on. Can you ask it for the trend today? Yeah, yeah, you can ask me that. So, guys, we're working. I don't have it up right now, but um, normally I didn't open till 9:15, but lately I've been wanting to open at 9 because sometimes I have more I want to discuss. And so, just stand by for a second. I'm gonna give it another few minutes, let some people come in because I see a lot of normal people that attend in the morning are starting to jump on TikTok here. Let me open up. Oh shoot, guys, Paul or Cody, man, you guys got to be my reminder of put the link in the room too, so they can come into the open room. I ended up forgetting that. So those of you that were gonna join the open session here, we normally didn't do it till 9:15. So I just decided recently that we'll just start doing it at 9. So I did push that. So if you guys go in to the website and you hit refresh, you'll see this green light go from the mentor session to the open session. I get a good amount of questions on that, guys. You can watch on TikTok, love it, appreciate it. Helps with the algo, helps with everything within. I know people are busy, sometimes it's easier on the mobile. If you're at home and you're trading, we do an open session. You can click this and it just takes you to a Google Meet and you go like that and you're in. So you just click it. So you're welcome to join there. You're welcome to stay on TikTok, whatever suits your fancy. But yeah, so I do got to remember to push that open session too a little bit earlier. So, all right, guys. Looks like most are coming in here. A few things I want to talk about. One, for those who want to ask questions about Neo, just give me a moment. Let me get through my phrase or my thought in the morning here. We will be live trading MNQ or NQ, NASDAQ in general. This is Neo. He is our AI, the company built. So this is our company, nextstepalgo.com, which is founded by three of us. Myself, Paul, and Alex. Alex is the brains, let's be honest, right, Paul? Uh, Alex is our programmer. You probably, we call him the Wizard of Oz, right? You don't really know he's there, but he's building everything pretty. He's the man pulling the strings. So he's an awesome programmer. Just builds such amazing stuff in ridiculously quick times. But I'm the trader, right? I'm the one in here, kind of helping you guys, guide you guys, taught Neo how to interpret things, all that. He can do. If you're thinking like, what can he do? He probably can do it. So he's not a tool. He's not just something you can say, hey, where do I buy? Where do I sell? There's a lot you can do. So that's gonna to kind of go quickly, so we don't get too deep with into time. Um, we have all three of us have spent a ridiculous amount of hours daily, pretty much for a bit, since we opened the company, building him, and so it does pull from some other things. And so the good news is we're mostly done with that with him. And so as we grow and the feedback and the support tickets, there for me, for those who are in the community who have used him, everybody knows mostly what to ask him and to talk to him and the power of what he can do. But I understand a lot of you don't know us. And so a lot of times people are really heavily underusing him. And what I mean by that is people will say, should I go long? Should I go short? Is there an entry? Where do I go in? And that's all you want to know, because it's really all you want to know. But you want to challenge them on things, ask them questions. What's the trend look like? What are institutions doing? Where's the liquidity at? Like he has his own real time data. You don't have to link anything. You don't have to feed anything. Good morning. You don't have to do anything. You just talk to him, right? And so I'm going to be starting now that I have the time to do it. Those that are on trial, I appreciate all your patience through things like that. But I really want people to maximize his usage, and we built him for a reason, to truly change the industry and to truly help people. It's just a fact, and that's what I firmly believe in. And um, if I build him to be as amazing as he is, and you're underusing him, it does kind of a disservice to you not to make sure that you're fully using him to his capability, right? So I'm going to be starting kind of like what I'm referring to as like an information awareness campaign, right? So you're going to see probably daily when you're in the website like this, if you get a little one up in the corner here, just click it open. I'm just going to throw out some quick tips, like TradeVision quick tips, like this one. Don't just ask Neo, is there a trade? If Neo says no trade, ask where would the trade be, or what price would it need to get to for the setup to be valid, or what do we need to have it to do to be valid? Like I'm gonna start throwing out some quick tips. So if you see the little one there, just click it. It's where all of our notifications go. Where I'm also gonna do it is in our community chat. This cracks me up because this thing used to blow up, and now not as many people talk in it because they literally just sit there and talk to Neo all day. Yeah, one second, I'll jump on that here also. And and so I'm gonna start pushing some, Neo updates, campaign awareness stuff, how to use them, maximize them, all that stuff. So just keep an eye on the community chat if you have that as well. For any mic issues, guys, if you are on your desktop or your phone or whatever, we are web based, so we're at the mercy of your browser settings. So when you go, like for example, my Chrome, I'll show you. If I open up um, settings and I type in the settings, microphone, you got to go to your site settings and make sure you go to microphone, and then make sure it is on where the sites can ask to use your microphone, right? And so if your browser is blocking it, because a lot of you guys are similar to me, where you set your stuff to block cookies, pop-ups, microphone, all that will block it. It's just all going to block it. And so I want to add, I just have to do it carefully but I'd like to add a little, maybe even in his logic, where you can ask him like, hey, my microphone's not working. But I just we might approach it a different way, because I don't want to touch his his trading stuff. Is so good. um but yeah, so keep an eye out for all that stuff. I'm also going to be working on probably this week, but by the weekend, doing like a Neo maximize Neo usage channel in YouTube. And so that way you can actually go in there and watch little 5-minute clips of how to do it. Now if you guys want to know other things, I have a lot of TikToks on there that show how I'm talking to them. All of our stuff is recorded in YouTube, so you can go to the YouTube and watch any of those lives all day if you want to. But the the amount of underusing him to what his capability is pretty high. And so that tells me we're going to work on something. We're also working on doing a Neo orientation. That will probably be up some point tonight. Not sure where we're gonna put it, but we'll have like something that you can download. Maybe even if we don't do it downloadable, you'll click it and maybe Neo will read to it like an introduction. Hey, here's what you can ask me. Here's what I can do for you. Like we're we're still gonna always continue to improve that user experience, because there's so many different people out there and different traders out there that it's not going to always it's just not always going to be the same for everybody, right? And we recognize that. So but with that said, guys, it's 9:15. Let's look at the market and we'll kind of talk about one other thing. Get a little water. I'm excited, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Those who know, I'm a little nervous because Alex did push our memory update. So Neo is gonna remember. Now we're gonna monitor it, ensure it's all flowing as it should be. And so, but this is an exciting update because now it takes Neo even further from just being a tool. It takes him into being your mentor, your guide, your coach, your development, someone that knows you over time and follows your journey and can give you recognition, can give you, if you're swaying, put you, in your place, and he's going to be able to recognize things. Now, I want to be pretty clear about it. From my understanding from Alex, he's not remembering every single word y'all say. So it's not you don't like panic like, oh man, this guy's, I'm gonna remember everything, or don't try to say, hey, 2 months ago, man, I can't remember, what did I ask you? He's not, he's looking for behavioral stuff. Things you're doing well, things like I have in his logic, built where he'll recognize coaching opportunities is what I've always been taught to say. Everything, I don't like to say things are bad habits necessarily. They're more coaching opportunities because everything can be improved. And so um that's what he's going to remember. He's going to remember, your trading style, your preferences, do you like to go long, short, your bias, your strategy. If I get on here and say, hey, I'm a large structure trader, I want, Wyckoff, Elliott wave type stuff, right? He's going to remember that you like that. Now, if he can't do something or he doesn't have that data, he's going to say, hey, I don't have that data, but when you see something line up, uh, let me know and I'll validate my data with your data. And that's the second thing that I get a lot where people think that Neo is going to teach you a new strategy or going to change the way you trade or mold it. It's not what he's about, guys. He's grabbing a large amount of data that's critical in this industry that identifies things like order flow and institutional positioning and volume and just so much else. But it's impossible to really, if I gave him everything, that's out there, good Lord, guys, we would probably break him. It's so much, even for AI, it's too much. And so, don't think of it like he's here to change your trading. Now, if you don't have any knowledge, he's going to mold you, right, in a certain way. But, if you have a certain way, just tell him I have a certain way. Look, I'm a top and bottom scalper. I like to use, CRT and, when I get a setup, can I confirm with you if it validates? And so if I say, hey, we're oscillating like crazy right here, even if he doesn't quite recognize the harmonics or structure or deeper pattern, doesn't mean that he can't help you, right? You would say, man, we're oscillating like crazy here. We're coming back off this resistance, about to micro double top here. Are you seeing us bearish or bullish? Like, is this validating what I'm seeing? And he's going to look at it like, I see institutions are selling. I see, hey, Ellie, welcome. And so, you know, I just want to keep being clear about that. So, and I know we're at 9:18, so I don't want to go too much deeper than that. But for those that, again, are not sure what I'm talking about, just please be patient because we do live trade. So I always like to do our trading, and then when we're done, I open it up for questions. And lately, we've been done in like the first 20 minutes. It's crazy because he's been calling the marketing open move. Um, the last kind of elephant in the room I want to mention. Um, he does not have a crystal ball, guys. He's AI. He is going to take all the data he knows and interpret it the best that he can. Even hedge funds, Goldman Sachs, like big dogs aren't going to get it right. I mean, I watched when when we went to our last bear market back in the day, I mean, I forgot who it was. I forgot what. I think it was Warren Buffett's, company that like they were almost at the end of the year and all their clients were negative. These are big dogs with hedge fund AIs, right? Like guiding in the market is the most difficult thing to do out there. It just is. And many of you who've been following have seen he is phenomenal with directional guidance and liquidity and bias and all that. He is not a buy sell signal. If you are simply like, should I go long? He might go, I wouldn't go long here because he's not gonna push that habit of I always have to enter. He's gonna say, I wouldn't go long here, but you have this here, you have that there, that there. Most of the time, he's gonna say, this is where a long becomes viable. This is where a short becomes viable. But if he doesn't, ask him. Well, where is a long? Where is a short? Where is it? Talk to him like a person. Talk to him like you're talking to me if we were on a call right now. And I promise you'll get a lot more value out of him. You can ask him that. So let's get him started, guys, because we only got 10 minutes open, and then I'll get my little two
It's a
cents here.
pleasure to meet you, Nick. Since you're looking to get started, let's keep it simple. The market is currently caught in a tight range and showing signs of compression, so patience is your best edge right now. Price is hovering near 30,024.50, but with institutional resistance sitting at 30,050.54, we need to see a clean breakout or a confirmed rejection before forcing a move. Are you looking to focus on quick scalps or longer structure plays today?
um, we'll talk to him in a second. Interesting enough, I was kind of looking at that trend line that we had back in the day, and that one's not holding up much. I want to see if this one on my other one, yeah, see this one. Remember Cody, the one you were kind of pointing out before, is holding pretty good. So we're in a very interesting spot, guys. I'm gonna let Neo talk here in a minute. I'll keep mine brief because he has made me lazy because he's so good. Um, we had a nasty run. We did. Uh, we're in a pretty good sized distribution phase. We could range up here for the next month. 2 months. I mean, who knows, right? So we got to look at technicals and just see what is the market telling us. Now, the big thing, the most important thing in here, we had almost no sell offs. Then we began to get a lot of selling pressure. So institutions are selling. Neo, day after day, has been calling these just massive drops because what he sees in the institutional side. Um, can we go higher? Absolutely. Can we go a lot lower? Absolutely. There's just some basic TA that you can do. If you skip that low there prior and you bring it up to here, you can see it's sort of trying to respect just a basic trend. So at the end of the day, long-term macro, right? We're still really bullish. I mean, we're not really creating like the only deeper kind of low we created here was met with just a violent move north. And so our pullback here, you can see if you even just take a standard 50% pull, we broke it so many times and we just keep reclaiming it. It just doesn't show crazy bearish, right? But we've been capitalizing on these drops each day because they're just happening. Now, at some point, if these certain levels, because my mentor group knows, we study these structures. If certain levels end up collapsing down here, it's going to be pretty ugly. It's going to be pretty nasty. But until that happens, I mean, we still can go up. So you got to not be too deeply biased. I'm short, I'm long, etc. Uh, Even me, guys, like those that have traded with me for a bit know me well. I'm pretty good at forecasting a little ahead, whether it's high time frame, low time frame, etc. And I've gotten lazy because Neo is just so good, and you guys seen that yesterday. A couple of things I want to also touch on, and I'm kind of watching the time because I do want to talk to Neo on it. Is listen to what Neo says yesterday when we had that nasty drop he called. He was saying things like, if we break this level, it's going to be a bloodbath. Like these people are going to get wrecked, right? And it did. And so if he's hesitant, if he says, I'm kind of leaning neutral, or things are mixed, or things are being a little complex, you might not get that full expansion right away, right? He might need to wait for data. If he says, "Hey, wait," I'd stand on the sidelines right now. There's probably a reason. So, uh, so just keep that in mind, guys. Now, uh, internally, you go into the 1 minute. I mean, we got a lot of bearish things playing out. Got a clear double top with a neckline smack, came down. Can't even get to the 50% retracement. That's why we're seeing these deeper pulls. So I'm gonna check in with Neo here in a second. Guys, let me type it in TikTok so people know. But those in the mentor group, if you could help too with chats, thank you for that, Steven. But we're gonna be trading live here soon, so I'm not gonna be checking other things. Let's see. Let me put the symbol. One second. I'm just gonna do a pinned comment. All right. I'll put that there and pin that real quick. All right, I think that's pinned. Okay, so let's get to it, guys. Let's start asking Neo some things. Hey Neo, I'm open to longer plays and quick scalps. Can you give me a marketing plan with some key levels that I should be marking out, that I should be watching, including any institutional stuff? So we're going to give some levels, and then we'll jump in and ask him what he thinks is going to happen on the
Since you're
open.
open to both, I'll focus on the structure play setup while keeping scalp targets in mind. Bearish expansion is gaining traction, with price currently pressing near the 30,005.00 fib level. A clean break and hold below this area confirms the bearish bias for a potential push toward 29918.75. Mark out the immediate institutional reaction level at 30,050.54, as this acts as your primary obstacle for any long side reclaims or bounce attempts. Watch for rejection at this level for high probability short, while keeping 30,005.00 as your line in the sand for downside continuation.
Okay, so that is our local data here. So I'm gonna put that anytime you see a blue line on my chart, it's what Neo told me on that. So I think he only gave a couple there. He just said we're pressing up on the keep the line. Yeah, he's saying that 3005 is kind of that line in the sand. So he didn't really give much of the institutional data, but that doesn't surprise me because of kind of where we jumped to, right? He might be waiting for that move. But let's ask him our infamous question, y'all. Well, real quick. Sounds good. Based on the data that you have, what should our bias be for the day? Also, if you were running the book, if you were hunting liquidity in US Open in 3 minutes, where would you likely drive the price to make the most, kind of hit the most stops or cause the most damage? I want to elaborate a little and see if we can push there.
With the bearish structure and negative institutional flow, the overall bias remains bearish. However, since we're in a compression zone, avoid chasing until price confirms a clean breakdown below 30,005.00. If I were managing the order flow for the US Open, I would look to drive price toward the liquidity cluster near 30,050.54 to hunt stops from early longs. Then observe if that level rejects to confirm a move toward the measured move targets near 29,918.75. Stay disciplined as we approach the open, as volatility is expected to spike.
So he seems to be kind of holding these levels. Let me ask him that 30,050, is that institutional or is there any institutional or liquidity levels above that it might drive to if we break it? I want to get him to see if we can get one more level above this. Let's see what I mean though. Just talk to him. If you have a question, challenge it. All right, talk to him.
The 30,050.54 level is indeed a major institutional
Okay,
reaction
so it is a
level and
big
a
level.
primary immediate obstacle. If price breaks and sustains above it, the next major institutional wall is located at 30,070.60, which would be the likely
Man,
target for a liquidity sweep.
they're tight. Looks like they got this. more conservative in his answers today. Well, not only conservative, but you guys know when he's done this before, and I'm really curious how Market Open does because when he's done that before, where he's more tight in his ranges, remember we tend to consolidate. So be careful on breakouts. Let me. Your range is a lot tighter than normal. Is this because you're expecting potential consolidation, or should we prioritize pullbacks or pushes before we take trades? Or do you think breakouts are still possibly clear? We got 1 minute, guys. So his theory so far was that he would sweep this high and then bring it
The
down.
current tight range and compression risk suggest price is coiled. I
Yeah,
would
see,
prioritize waiting for a clear push into a structural level and observing
I
for
figured
rejection
that's
or
what he was
breakout
doing.
confirmation before committing. Breakouts remain high risk in this environment, so prioritize pullbacks into resistance zones to allow the market to show its hand during the opening volatility.
Ding, ding, ding. All right, guys. So we got that push. All right. So there's his first push up. So his thing, if you guys recall, I'm just gonna set up something real quick. His thing is that he would sweep the 50 and the 70, and then he would bring it back to the 918. So let's see if we get that. His concern is if it sweeps and we hold above that 30,050, then there's a good chance it's gonna actually go a lot further. And so let's watch that. Again, guys, I show you guys these things because I want you not to. You got to listen to what he's telling you, right? And yesterday, you guys all heard he's like, we're doing this and this, and it's gonna dump, right? And so it guys, again, on any questions, guys, just give me a minute. We're gonna let it go. So we're pushing up on that 30,050. I'm giving him another minute, and then he'll have the updated data to be able to push. But when he hesitates or says things like yesterday, he was adamant, like we're gonna dump. It's gonna be a bloodbath. Like he was just going crazy. That's why I asked that question because he kept such a tight range on open that it just kind of led me to believe that I don't know. I was just kind of like, I'm kind of sensing that hesitation from you, and so it just gave me a little bit of a kind of a mixed feeling, right? And that's why I asked him. I said, "Are you expecting to have it compress?" And so we ended up breaking above that 50, and so it is pushing. And you even seen that in his hesitation a little. So anybody trying to do the open is institutions he had as selling and potential bearish bias, but he said that 50 is a reaction level. If we break that and we don't sustain below it, um, it could move north. All right, so that you always want to listen to what he's saying and challenge it. Now that you have the new data, can you please give me a new updated plan as far as key areas, lines, pivots that I should be watching for? So let's update our lines now that he has new institutional data.
The market has shifted to a bullish expansion phase, with price holding above the institutional pivot at
Let's
30,003.39.
see.
Given the upcoming
Guys,
job openings data in
uh,
47 minutes, maintain reduced position
I'm going to
sizing and
explain that in a
prioritize
second.
quick
Hold on.
profit taking. Watch 30,178.61 as your immediate upside resistance and key liquidity target. On
So
the downside, monitor 30,000.
I'm gonna mute him real quick. So guys, when you see him call out news like this, disregard that for now. Please don't let that confuse you. Look at your economic calendars. The reason why I say that is when we pushing his forever memory that we just pushed is a big push. Alex pushed it last night, and so we tested it. All looks great. Something in that memory is causing him to reflect the news. It's not going to impact his trading, but he might keep mentioning it, right? Like we have news, we have news. So I'm going to let him know. Sounds good. Let's keep it to the TA and what's going on the charts. I don't necessarily need.
That news is right, though.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to tell him. Other than the JOLTS one, if you have any other economic data, please disregard that. But the JOLTS one is correct. Yeah, thanks for that on that, Cody. I immediately went with like what we were talking about this morning. So, but yeah, the Jolts one is good. But let's let him do that.
Understood. With price hitting the 30,168.39 institutional resistance wall and trading into a 1-hour bullish OB, we are in a high confluence zone where I'm looking for a clear rejection or sustained breakout. Given the 26-minute window until jolts, maintain a defensive posture. I would not chase this expansion into resistance. If price fails to reclaim above 30,177.54 with conviction, I am monitoring for a potential mean reversion toward the 30,100.00 area.
Okay, so he has 178. So I'm just gonna mark up my chart, guys. This is level. Looks like the bulls are pushing really hard today. Do you think your bias has shifted? Are institutions still selling or are they buying? I want to see if I'm going to start grilling him a little on his bias and stuff now.
The market is showing strong buying volume, but institutional flow data remains negative, suggesting that current price action is an aggressive retail-driven push rather than broad institutional accumulation. We are currently testing the 30,203.39 institutional pivot. If buyers fail to clear this and hold above it, the risk of a mean reversion to the 30,168.39 support level increases.
Yeah, we're continuing to push. Can you give me the upper levels? Do we have anything way above our 30,200 that we need to mark for institutions? Give me the highest probability of rejection zone above 30,250. So see how I'm going to challenge him. I'm just talking to him like a, because he's gonna give you the data as he sees it, what's important. But you always want to challenge him.
Price has cleared the 30,203.39 institutional pivot and is now testing support near the 30,238.39 level. With institutional flow remaining negative, the highest probability rejection zone above 30,250 is the 30,278.39 gamma wall, which aligns with near-term institutional resistance. Watch for potential exhaustion if price approaches the 30,278.39 level, especially given the upcoming JOLTS data. If price fails to sustain momentum above this area, a pullback toward the 30,200 pivot is the logical technical path.
1 second, guys. And so I'm going to ask him really quick here. So it's a very interesting market because remember he said it's retail driven, right? And so I was just looking. It's funny if you all look at like Spy and some of these other ones, they're not nearly as up as this. There seems to be a little divergence in that. So it looks like we're definitely getting resistance as we climb closer to that 278. At what level would we look to take a short? If it breaks back below that 178, would that be a clean entry, or what do you suggest?
A breakdown of 30,218.65 is the first tactical level to monitor, as it aligns with the immediate reaction support in the gamma wall. However, that is still above your 30,178 level. I would treat a drop below 30,168.39, our major institutional support, as the much cleaner confirmation for a short, as that move would invalidate the current bullish structure and align with the negative institutional flow.
Okay, so now it's 168. So you said 30,168. Should I move my 30,178 line there? See what I mean? Like I'm just talking to him like he's doing that confirmation. That's good. That's good. That's what he's supposed to be doing on it.
Yes, I would update your focus to 30,168.39 because it represents the
So this
major
is the big
institutional
drop, guys,
support
if we get
level.
below 68.
Using this level as your primary pivot for a potential short entry is more precise, as it aligns with higher institutional strength than your 30,178 line.
If you were to prioritize a direction, would you be long or short? I just want to start to probe him a little bit on his bias.
Given the compression risk and the conflicting institutional data, where institutional flow remains negative while price holds the pivot, I would prioritize a neutral stance until the 30,219.27 resistance or the 30,203.39 support is decisively broken. With JOLTS news only 21 minutes away, the market is currently too choppy to justify a directional bias. Waiting for a clean expansion out of this tight range is the disciplined approach.
Yeah, and he's not wrong, right? With jolts coming, he's hesitant on even giving that directional guidance, right? But he keeps saying, guys, if you keep hearing him saying over and over, the way that the market is looking, there's risk of compression. So be careful, all you guys that are breakout traders. Um, Jolts is coming. News can change everything. But the last few times he talked about compression, we tended to push up, pull back, push up, pull back. It ended up playing out just as he said. So, um, I'm watching the 68 here. That's gonna be my key where I'll probably jump in if I get that pull. If we do break below that 168 as we approach it, do you expect it to be pretty violent if we close below it? But yeah, we have jolts coming up, guys. So please be careful with volume, or try to keep them in and out. Don't let things run too much.
Yes, a
Or
sustained
trail
close
it.
below 30,168.39 has high acceleration risk because it would trigger a cascade of liquidity, effectively flushing
See
the
that
major
they
support
defended it
and
almost
confirming the
perfectly.
bearish flow bias. Expect volatility to spike as the market shifts from compression to expansion, making that break a primary catalyst for a rapid move toward the next institutional targets.
That was a pretty good read because we came down and just bounced pretty heavy off of it. Like they're defending it on the buyer side. Do you see institutions flipping to buying, or do you think they're shifting to a potential sell stance? So these are his key levels, guys. This was
Institutional
his.
flow is still showing negative pressure, which suggests this bounce is likely tactical short-term absorption rather than a fundamental flip to a buying regime. They appear to be defending support to maintain the range, but I wouldn't bet on a reversal until we see them aggressively reclaim and hold above the major resistance levels.
Yeah, and so 278, 30,278 is his line he thinks they're going to defend heavily. 218 was another big one, and then 168 seems to be his, don't touch the short until below. Yeah, I'll tell you, many of you on here who are trialing them can back me up on it, but even myself, I've had times where I look at something like yesterday, even I'm like, man, this kind of looks a little bullish potentially. And you guys heard me kept just grilling him. I'm like, you sure? You sure? He's like, yep, yep. And so when he's pretty stubborn, directionally, I tend to listen, and it'll create better patience for you. Um, what I'm noticing in his demeanor today, he's neutral. He's like, the institutions might let this run up because of news, and then let the news drop and decide what they want to do. He mentioned a couple times, we could be consolidating, and there's conflicting things. And so when he feels conflicted at times, you want to be patient. So now the interesting thing, guys, we held 218, which is a critical level, as support. We lost it, and now we're rejecting with absorption. This might set up that pull that he was talking about that would push down. Let's see. If we get that break down below the 168, what's the next likely target? Is that the 30,100?
If price decisively breaks and holds below the 30,168.39 major support, the next high probability target is the 30,153.39 institutional pivot. After that, look for potential reaction near the 30,004.25 to 30,013.50
Well,
area,
that's pretty
where
far.
active 1-hour order blocks provide deeper liquidity support.
As we approach news coming up, what is the more likely direction that they would send this to hunt liquidity? Vanessa, give me 1
Institutional
minute.
flow is showing sell pressure, and the current structure is failing to reclaim higher highs, which points to a potential liquidity hunt toward the downside. They would likely look to sweep the major support near 30,168.39 to trigger stops and fuel a potential stop run, given the negative institutional flow and compression risk before the jolt's release.
There you go. I don't want to pivot off of the Nasdaq just because we got news coming up, and I know people are actively trading. But anybody who has them, you guys can always change your symbols within. So, and if you don't have them, you can get the trial on it. So, 1 minute. It's interesting when the price rises like this, yet institutions still show selling before news. Does that tell us anything about what is expected potentially in the news? I just want to challenge him and see what he thinks on the news. Interesting, guys. We're in a lock compression area here where it looks like it should flip bearish, but it could flip bull flag.
When price rises
It's
while
interesting.
institutional flow shows persistent selling, it often signals absorption or a potential trap where the market is being pushed up into liquidity to facilitate better
See a
entry
bull flag.
prices for larger sellers. In the context of an upcoming news event like JOLTS, this divergence frequently indicates that the market is positioning for a sharper reaction lower once the initial news-driven volatility triggers a liquidity sweep.
So guys, just from structure of this, you can see try to double top, try to hold the neckline, absorption of the south, kind of hit this. He said 168 is the line in the sand. Yeah, well, especially with news. So be really careful being really aggressive today because we have the news. 168 is his line in the sand. And you can see it's playing out well because it's defending. So whether that was going to play out bearish or flip bull flag, it looks like it's trying to be bull flag. Now, here's the tricky part, guys. Be careful because a bull flag is a continuation. It needs expansion. If it doesn't get it and we lose our 50% of that move, it usually breaks down and it's pretty violent. So see how it's trying? It broke here and it bounced on the 218 that he's calling perfectly. That pushed up. His biggest defense that he had was 30,278. Let me see if that moved. Do you still see 30,278 as probably our highest probability area that they will defend the shorts, or do you see anything above that being positioned now? See how it's gonna, if this bull flag breaks, fails, it's gonna be pretty nasty the other way. So be careful in your longs. This will be your 50%. If we break through here, it's going to come with violent.
30,277.34 remains a major reaction zone, but the market is also showing significant positioning near the major institutional resistance at 30,316.83. Given the compression risk in institutional sell-side flow, look for these levels to act as a cluster where sellers might defend the push before the news release.
Which one is the most likelihood of the most reaction back to a short, the 278 or the 316? I'm just trying to probe him. I want to know what he thinks probability wise.
The 30,277.34 level is the most likely spot for an initial reaction because it aligns with the institutional max change level and current gamma positioning, making it the primary obstacle before the news. While 30,317.34 is a major institutional wall, price would need significant momentum to clear the 30,277.34 zone first. Consider the latter as a secondary exhaustion target if the news-driven volatility drives an extended breakout.
What does that tell us when market goes bullish pre-news? Does that mean we're bullish likely because of the news coming up? I'm going to ask him some questions. I want to just show you guys things you can ask him. You just talk to him. So we're trying to hold here. I'll ask him one thing after this too.
Reflects front running, where traders bid up prices in anticipation of a favorable result or simply to induce liquidity for a trap before the release. However, it doesn't guarantee a bullish outcome. More often, this type of strength creates a magnet effect that can be quickly reversed if the actual data disappoints or simply provides the liquidity needed for a sharp institutional sell-off.
Yeah, so it's more inducement for you guys. And again, guys, some things I know I just want to ask because I want to show you guys what to ask. And some just dealing with support and just talking to people in DMs is we'll ask our levels and we'll ask something and then that's it. And then you're just back to trading, right? Continue to grill him. Like I can say, it looks like we had a little breakout on the 15-second of a bull flag. Do you think this has enough momentum to have expansion, or is this going to be a trap? Right? Just if you're thinking it, just ask them, ask them, ask them, ask them. Because things change, guys. Institutional positioning changes, order flow changes, structure changes, everything changes.
Potential, but with institutional flow remaining negative in the news event only 11 minutes away, The breakout lacks the necessary sustained volume for reliable expansion. Expect this to likely function as a liquidity grab or a trap, where buyers are lured in before a potential sharp reversal ahead of the jolt's release.
So as we get closer, I've been having fun, and those of you guys that do options, you guys can do the same. I like to ask them just like the market oven. If you were running this right, where would you send price before jolts? I don't like to ask too early because you know the more data you can get into the news, it's better, right? Uh, and so let's just give that a little bit, but I'm gonna ask them that as well, so we'll look and see. When we did that with FOMC, like you guys tell him, man, like he nailed that like to the dollar. And again, guys, I'm gonna go back to always kind of bringing y'all back to reality. He is amazing at interpreting data. You guys have seen it every day. He doesn't have a crystal ball, so he doesn't know what the news is gonna do. You know, there's no AI conspiracies. Please, he's just looking at liquidity and what would the market do to just reap the most havoc. You know, that's what he does. And so when yeah, so just continue to ask him, you know, questions, things like that. Keep your volume low. You know, my fear is when he does good so many times, it's very enticing to let the gambler take over, right? Where we say, man, he's been killing it. I made 1,000 this day, 500 that day, 2,000 this day. You know, I'm gonna double my volume, right? I could have made 6,000. Like, don't do that, please, guys. Um, and if you're thinking of something now, that, especially now that we have the memory in there, if you're thinking of something like that, tell him, right? Talk to him. You know, talk to him out loud with it. Like, let him be your conscience, and he's gonna make you a better trader. So, uh, but yeah. So we got 10 minutes left. We'll just kind of hang out for a little.
Yeah, I haven't even taken a trade today.
Yeah, I haven't done any on my futures. I'm gonna probably do an options trade. Just, it's options, you know, for news. So there's that 78 he talked about. Remember, he said the bull flag is likely to potentially push out, but let's see if they defend that 78. So 78 was where he said they're likely to defend the most. If we breach through that, guys, this could be a deep day. You know, 317 is the only one above that he wanted to give. But also, you got to keep in mind, I don't care if it's AI. I don't care who it is. Yeah, guys, be careful today. We have news, right? You can just study. You know, see how accurate he gets with this stuff as well. You don't have to take every move. The VIP, I'm gonna extend it because I do have a few people that asked for extension, so I told them I'll just extend it. So yeah, you have a little, but normally I did, yeah. So, but news can change everything. So let's see where this goes. I want to see if this is truly what where they defend. So the best play for me, you know, whether I take it or not, we got to see news, right? Would be any kind of tap here, breakdown of this, and then once we pass through these levels, I would look to probably take that. But before I do, I would ask him anyways. So we'll just give him a few more minutes. The Bulls are definitely trying to push. Let me ask it more this way. If you were to take a trade today, would you be more long or short? I want to see if he'll give me a direction. He's been mostly like, I'd be neutral. And so it should tell you guys something, right? This is the first day in like 2-3
With the
weeks. He's
news
like,
only 7 minutes away
see,
and the market trapped between the
I wouldn't take nothing.
30,288.52 support and 30,316.84 resistance, I would stay neutral and avoid
I
placing
knew he
any
was
new
going to say
trades.
neutral.
Chasing this bullish push into a major resistance cluster ahead of jolts is a high-risk scenario, as the negative institutional flow and compression suggest the current move could be an exhaustion trap designed to find liquidity before the volatility hits.
That makes sense. And so you're telling me that for news, a lot of the bigger money guys, the bigger players, they tend to make it look really bullish to get people like retail to start to buy it pre-news. Is that what we're thinking? And again, I know these things, but I want to let you guys know what you can just talk to them. It's not all just TA, buy, sell signals, entry, all that. So you can ask them.
That's what we call inducement or a liquidity trap. Institutional participants often drive price into key resistance zones to bait retail traders into chasing the breakout, providing the necessary sell-side liquidity they need to offload their own positions or flip short before the actual volatility hits.
How high would you push this if you wanted to trap the most people, being we have news in like almost 5 minutes? I want to see if he sees anything above. Let's look at the chart anyways.
To maximize a trap before
Oh,
the
he's
jolts
not wrong.
release,
Look
the
at
market would
this is a
likely
lot.
push just above the 30,317.06
That's critical.
institutional resistance, potentially tapping 30330, 30350 to trigger late breakout buyers' stops. This move serves as buy-side liquidity that big players then use to facilitate their own short positions, setting the stage for a quick reversal once the news hits.
When institutions are heavily selling like that, if the news comes out positive but it can't break that 350, that would cause that break. But what if it breaks and holds above 350 and institutions are still selling? What would that tell me? I'm just going to keep asking. Oh yeah, he did it. He's done it every morning, and he's been spot on every morning. This morning he was a little more
If the news
skeptical.
is positive
That's why
and
people are
price
staying
breaks,
out.
holds above 30,350 while institutional flow remains negative, it signals a massive short squeeze, where trapped sellers are forced to buy back their positions to cover losses. This creates a volatile feedback loop where the institutional sell side pressure is actually fueling the upside momentum, but you must be wary of it being an unsustainable blow off top if volume drops off later.
Yeah, I'll ask him that, and then we'll ask him the news. What would be the best strategy you think or approach for today post news? So he
The
is.
safest post-news strategy is to practice patience and confirmation by waiting at least 5 to 10 minutes for the initial volatility spike to settle and a new structural trend to emerge. Let the market establish a clear higher high or lower low following the news, then look to trade in the direction of that confirmed post-news expansion rather than guessing the move during the initial whipsaw.
There you go. All right, let's see. With news just minutes away, where would you send price to hunt the most liquidity and set up the most retail? Where do you see this potentially going? Obviously, we don't know what the news is going to be, but just based on what you see. Let's just get some theories. He's been pretty spot on with it, but I'm curious to see. His hesitation was pretty good, but we
Given
did
the
get
current
we ended up
institutional wall
getting
of
expansion on it.
30,317.34, the market is likely positioning to pin price here to maximize the number of trapped participants before the jolts release. Expect a sudden, violent expansion, likely an initial fakeout spike higher to entice breakout buyers into 30340, 30360, followed by an aggressive reversal if that level fails to sustain liquidity.
All right, well, we got news in 3 minutes, guys, so let's see. So his theory was that they would sweep to 350 just above it to stop hunt, and then followed by a pull. So let me ask him, even with the news coming out in a few minutes, would you still sustain a bearish potential stance, or would you be flipping potentially bullish, or do you still see it as neutral?
I maintain a neutral, observation-only
figured he
stance
was
until the
going to.
jolts release passes, as the current bullish
We got to let the
structure is
news get
fighting
through
against
because he ain't
negative
going to touch it
institutional
without
flow.
that.
Avoid flipping bias now. Let the news force the market to show its hand, then follow the confirmed direction of the resulting expansion.
Yeah, I figured he was going to be stubborn about it. So again, guys, in the 2 minutes we're waiting for the news. So you see how I keep talking to him, ask him questions, right? Challenge him. He's not gonna sway. He's stubborn. Like yesterday when we were like, "You sure it looks pretty bullish?" He goes, "It's not. Like we're gonna dump, right?" Like he was adamant. He was not really even saying anything about neutral. Like it was just, I get
His
it.
words sound like he's pretty sure it's going to come down, though.
Yeah, he's leaning. To me, just talking to him a lot, he's leaning bearish. However, because he believes it's an inducement, a possible trap. But if you notice, some of the words he's saying is, if we expand through 350, it's now full blown short squeeze, right? And then it's going to create a cascade of stop runs that could push it up a lot. Notice how he says that. So it's like institutions are still selling, but and so just be really careful, y'all. Like I would be careful trading until we get a clear path after this news. Do you still see institutional pressure as selling as we're about to hit news? I want to see if he sees any shift right before news. And then once news hits, then we'll see, he'll be able to see the adjustment.
Yes, the institutional flow remains negative with sell pressure, indicating that larger participants are likely
institutions
using
are
these pre-news
still
pops to hedge
selling.
their offload positions. This
Interesting.
conflict between your bullish price structure and institutional sell pressure is exactly why I'm emphasizing a no-trade stance right now. The news will likely resolve this discrepancy in a single, high volatility move.
This discrepancy. All right, guys, let's see where the news goes. And again, guys, he doesn't have data to predict the news, so we got to let the news settle. We'll see how the news hits, and then we will go from there. From what he's saying, the way I would interpret it is, we're obviously expanding bullish here. When we asked about the bull flag, he said yes. Although it's in the pressure is south, there's definitely enough proof to show that we'll get expansion, and we did. And so he's a little more hesitant than normal, what he was, which is you got to read into that. He's not always going to be able to know exactly where it's going every time, every day, every trade, even though it feels like it at times. But when he displays a lot of confidence, you want to be in, with that. Now, this is a big move here, guys. Remember, institutions are trying to sell. That 350 was the highest one he wanted to give me. I'll ask him if there's one higher here in a minute. But as we begin to come back down on these levels, remember that 168 is his kind of big level. So based on what you're looking at now, we are rejecting around that 350. The news data came out. What level would this need to cross downward to get the biggest reaction south for the biggest move? I'm going to try to get him to set up on that question for you guys. So, but we rejected. Look at, he said we would sweep the 350 on news and then we would pull it back.
The news has triggered
And
post-gap
so he's still not wrong
and
on
we're
it.
currently seeing price reject the upper institutional resistance area. To see a significant move south, price must break and sustain below the 30,228.02 major institutional support level.
So
A
28.
clean break and hold under that level would signal a shift in control, likely accelerating the move toward the next institutional pivot near 30,003.54 as liquidity is pulled lower. Until then, treat any weakness as potentially corrective and wait for that confirmed structural break before chasing a downside move.
Y'all have to admit, I mean, it's not every move in every news is dramatic, but he did pretty good on that. He goes, I would send it to 350, I would sweep it before pulling it back to cascade stops. Now, I thought he said he would pull it back to around here. I don't remember. But even with it being a small move, Jolts must have not came out too crazy different. But he still, I mean, he said I would sweep the 350 and I'd pull it back. And so cool to see that was still right, even in a smaller move fashion. So now that you have the news data out, do you feel more comfortable with a bias of should we be short or should we be long?
The post-news environment is currently experiencing extreme volatility and whipsaws, which makes committing to a directional bias premature. While the structure is showing signs of a bearish shift with a lower high and lower low, we are still hovering right at the major institutional support level of 30,318.54. Until price clears that support level with sustained volume, any long or short bias is just gambling on noise. I recommend waiting for a definitive 1 minute.
See how he's not like he was yesterday. Yesterday he was like, I'm bearish.
Or reclaim and stabilization above the 30,379 resistance for a long.
Okay, so he's got 79. I'm going to mark that. I just want, anytime he puts out a level, I always do that. So any kind of push here, hold, sustain, close would give you your expansion for that long. He doesn't want to short unless you got below 228 is what he's looking at. So as price continues to press, do you expect it to get much higher, or what is the next upper level that would be a decent amount away that we would look for as far as the high reaction area?
The next major upper reaction zone is the primary gamma wall near 30,728.54.
Oh God.
Given the current compression risk in the mixed institutional flow, price would need to show sustained expansion and confirm a breakout above recent highs to reach that distance effectively.
That's wild. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anything in between the 379 and that we would be watching for? Because, man, that's a long way away. Do you expect it to get up to that point at some point today?
You are correct that the 343-point gap to the 30,728 level is significant. In the short term, you should watch for potential reactions at the previous high of 30,367.75, which is acting as immediate overhead resistance. While the current move is showing strong buy volume, price is pressing into a consolidation phase. Expect price to navigate through these interim minor levels before any potential extension toward the major gamma wall becomes a higher probability event.
This is almost kind of how yesterday was, right? Where it looks really, really bullish, kind of pushing through. Do you think this is still a trap, or do you think this has expansion potential? I'm going to keep challenging them just like I did yesterday. This is what they did yesterday, guys. They just push, and then it just went and flipped on everybody.
The current price action is hovering directly at the 30,378.54 gamma wall, which is acting as a major immediate resistance and a potential trap zone. While the buy fraction is high at 88%, the lack of clean expansion beyond this immediate wall suggests that we are still in a retest or reject phase rather than a clear breakout. I would treat this as a potential trap until we see a confirmed 1-minute candle close and hold decisively above 30,380 with rising expansion. If price fails to hold this level and starts printing bearish wicks, the probability of a reversal back into the range increases significantly.
If you were trading right now, would you be looking for longs or shorts? You can also ask him that, guys. If you were doing this, what would you do? Let's see what he says.
If I were looking to execute right now, I would remain neutral and wait for a clear directional break.
See, he hasn't said neutral in a while.
Between the 3,379.81
He don't like this at all.
resistance wall and the 3,328.54 support level. Institutional flow is currently showing negative pressure, but the price structure remains bullish, creating a high-risk scenario for chasing either direction until the market chooses a side. A long setup becomes valid only if we see a clean, confirmed breakout and hold above the 30,379.81 resistance. Conversely, I would look for short opportunities only if price fails to reclaim this level and confirms a break and hold back below the 30,328.54 support.
He don't even want to touch the short till here.
Exhaustion of the current bullish push.
That 3,228 is pretty far away. If we pull back to that level, are you that low because you're expecting they might do like a sweep and a push again? Or why are we putting that much weight on that level? Again, never hesitate to challenge it. One second, Patrick. I'll answer a few of you guys' questions in a sec, since this is not a great trading area.
The 30,328.54 level is weighted heavily because it is a major gamma wall that functions as a high probability liquidity zone where institutional positions are concentrated.
Yeah.
In order flow terms, this area serves as a magnet that often draws price in for a stop run or liquidity sweep before a potential push in the original trend direction. We focus on these levels not because we expect price to travel there immediately, but because they act as the primary structural boundary for retesting support. If price tests this wall and shows a failed breakdown with high Kinashi candle reversal, it confirms the strength of the bullish trend and provides a much higher confidence entry than chasing at current levels.
So, and you can continue to ask them these things, right? But a lot of like what I even look at. So as this is expanding here, we've seen this so many times. It expands, and then we just dump, right? But you got to look for weakness. So this top here is a lot weaker than these other expansions that came through. And so we definitely are seeing a little weakness within that area 379 he was talking about. Now I want to see the weakness in the structure. So I tend to take the upper, lower, pull that 50%, and you can see it's holding viable. Anything that stays above that, it's going up again. If we lose this level, it's likely going to come down with some force. And it's going to probably at least come in to retest this low. And at that point, it's going to try to jump back. If it loses, that low, it's going to create more of a cascade of stops as he talks about, right? But yeah, I just saw what you said. That's honestly the best thing, guys, and I love that you just said that, because that is the best feedback that I get. Is it's not about like make me win, right? He's going to teach you discipline, patience. Like, I mean, you guys have seen, those have been following for weeks. He has been stubbornly like, I'm bearish, I'm bearish, I'm bearish, I'm bearish. Or when he is, I'm bullish, I'm bullish. This is really the first day that he's like, I'm kind of neutral, right? Because we're expanding farther than we probably should based on the institutional data and flow being negative. He doesn't like to go against institutions, which is smart. You want to trade with them, not against them. And but it's tough to take a short until at least the structure breaks down. So he's really doing good on his guidance. And so, those of you who are using him, or you're following, just listening to me, is, when he says no trade, guys, like, he's not. At times I get tickets, or I talk to people where they're like, you know, I'm trying to get a trade, and he won't tell me where to go. He won't tell me the exact entry. He just says neutral. It's for a reason, guys. Like, he's not an ATM in a sense that I can just press a button and he says go long, go short. you know, oh yeah, from here we're going up or down. Like, it's not that way. He's a coach, a guide, a mentor. He's supposed to teach you, but he's analyzing so much data and he does so good at it. If his hesitation is, not to go long, there's a reason, right? Or not to go short, there's a reason. Now, some people I know, you might have him influence your bias because he's been so good, and you're sitting here looking at it going, dang, I might have took a few of these shorts. Like, I missed out on all this money. Just because it's or I mean longs, just because if it's a long that would have played out doesn't mean it's a good trade. You got to be patient on those trades. So, but look at this bounce off of 317 again. Crazy. So let's see how this goes, guys. I'm looking to see, again, I want to see structural failure. We don't really have that, I'm not looking to take any longs probably on this, but because since I've been using NEO, when he says institutional flow is negative, I'll just wait. If it takes 30 minutes, 40 minutes, hour, whatever, I'll wait for that setup to follow them. Now, if I ask him and he says institutional flow flips, then hey, let's go. I'll jump on that bandwagon, right? But this 50% pull, we broke it, swept it, and got a decent close, and bam, jumped it again. And so he's not wrong as far as this just being a tricky day. So be careful, guys. They just dropped that down. It looked like it was going to kind of pull. We even got a close below 317, and then they induced it right back up. Does that look like it's because buyers are going to push this through, or do you feel it was more of a stop hunt? I have a feeling he's going to talk about that, but this is an important move as well, right? Because see, we take that high, low. It's got to reclaim and hold this to get expansion. Any loss of that is likely going to create
That
a deeper
move
low.
was a classic liquidity inducement.
You got a head and
Price
shoulders
dropping through
forming too.
support and immediately reclaiming is a primary tactic used to trigger sell side stops and pull in shorts before trapping them into a rapid move in the opposite direction. Buyers appear to be using these failures as fuel to absorb liquidity, but until we see a sustained breakout and hold above 30,379.84, I would view this as a volatility-driven trap rather than pure breakout expansion. Watch for price to hold above the current support cluster. If it fails to maintain this momentum, we likely just see more consolidation within the range.
Is there anything that you're seeing that doesn't make sense? Something that we should watch for? Because it's doing what you said, where we got that kind of expansion and it doesn't want to break that area, but at times it looks bullish and then they start to pull it back. So I'm just trying to see if you see anything that doesn't line up for you. I'm just going to ask him a broad question to see what he says.
What doesn't line up here is the persistent buy-side volume and bullish trend structure conflicting with the institutional flow, which is showing active sell pressure. You are seeing this in the price action as a tug of war, where every expansion attempt is immediately met with supply, keeping price compressed and preventing a clean breakout. The primary thing to watch for is the failure to expand. If price keeps testing the 30,358.54 resistance wall without finding enough volume to push through, it increases the probability of a reversal or a deeper stop run toward that 30,338.86 support. Don't trust the bullish bias blindly until the market proves it can hold above that resistance. Otherwise, the current behavior is just noise within an institutional trap zone.
Yeah, it's interesting because they had a structure. It looks like it was going to break down and then we jumped. And now they look like they have a little bit of a head and shoulders trying to form on the 15-second, but then it's holding a little high on the shoulder. So definitely tricky in this area. See, I'm just going to talk to him because he's going to remember behaviors, thoughts, all that, so he's going to get better and smarter with you the more you talk to him anyways.
The head and shoulders you're seeing on the 15-second chart is a classic example of pattern-based inducement. Institutional players often allow these shapes to form because they know retail traders will try to short the right shoulder. When the shoulder holds high, instead of rolling over, it indicates that sellers are failing to find momentum, which often leads to a stop run of the pattern's neckline as the market forces those shorts to cover. Since we are currently hovering right around that 30,358.54 gamma line, you're essentially watching a test of institutional resistance. Stay disciplined. If price can't break down and establish a lower low, that held high shoulder suggests the path of least resistance is actually back up to test the upper liquidity, making any short position here extremely risky.
So, again, guys, this is the first time y'all probably even seen him be very neutral. He's very, you even heard him. Like, if it sounds like things that he's saying doesn't line up, I would ask him, like, hey, what are you seeing that doesn't line up? He's going to tell you, and he said that, right? What doesn't line up is how far we're expanding based on what he's seeing in institutional data. It just doesn't line up. Now, interesting enough, guys, that you guys in the mentor group, when we traded options yesterday, we were doing levels, see all these blue line levels, and out of nowhere he goes, 745, and I'm like, that's way up there. Do you see us getting there? He goes, yeah, and so we almost got to it. That's crazy. We almost got to it from yesterday. Here, let's ask him. Let's go to SPY because I think some of you guys are doing. On the SPY chart, do you see any potential risk of dropping? What are institutions doing there?
SPY is currently pinned against a major institutional resistance cluster at 743.95, which is acting
it's got
as
a cleaner head and shoulders
on
too.
current upside momentum. While institutional flow is currently positive, the compression
Ooh, it's
risk at this
positive
level
on
means
SPY.
institutions are likely taking the other side of retail breakouts, leading to the narrow, choppy price action you see now. The main risk is a liquidity grab down to the 742.50 pivot. If buyers cannot clear that 743.95 ceiling with a surge in volume, institutional sellers will likely continue to defend the level to trigger stop runs below the current range. Watch for a rejection of this resistance. If it happens, a rotation back toward the pivot is the path of least resistance.
Any changes in the data or your bias on the MNQ? We're definitely pressuring like this thing wants to jump. See how we're pressuring it? I just want to see what he says. I always like to see if he'll sway from his thought.
The data remains in a state of high compression. While you're feeling that jump pressure, the institutional flow is still showing sell pressure, creating that resistance wall at 30,357.1. We are seeing a bullish consolidation, where the structure is trying to hold, but until price sustains a breakout and holds expansion above that 30,357.1 level, the institutional sell side bias acts as a mechanical anchor. My bias remains cautious because the institutional flow is conflicting with your bullish structure score. If you're looking for that jump, wait for a confirmed close and expansion above 30,357.1. Until then, the risk is that this pressure is just another trap before a liquidity sweep back toward the 30,337.42 support.
Yeah, he's not budging, and that's what you guys. Those of you on the trial, you'll notice. You can ask him every question, every which way. If I tell him, hey, tell me where to go short, he's gonna tell you. But when you're having these discussions with him, just listen to him, and you guys can see, it is a pretty tricky morning. We ended up expanding, upward. we ended up holding those levels within, came up, got that bull flag instead of the double bottom or double top breakdown, pushed up into another one, pushed up into another one. I mean, these are all bullish continuation things. So it's very bullish within. I think what he doesn't like, and this is why I'm curious to see if how it plays, is again, like he says, the amount of movement that this is doing north, it's just not lining up with the institutions. And so this is where I found more success lately, just being patient and wait for the structure to break down. And I'm gonna likely go in the direction of his bias and the institutions every time. And I always preach this to everybody. Even if you did not take anything within here, it's fine. You can make just as much, if not sometimes even more, if you wait till it hits that pivotal moment that the institutions step in and then take that sweep, if that makes sense. And so this is part of trading. You got to, you have to definitely wait. Yeah, and I'll tell you, so let me show you something really cool, Vanessa, you could do is if I go to gold, and I was explaining this to someone, and we're going to have instructions to make sure people know this, but you have to go to the symbol. I was noticing that gold is pumping. Is there any correlation to that and NQ? Because gold is pumping and the MNQ is pumping. What does that mean? And he'll tell you a correlation, like if he sees anything. You just got to go to that symbol so you can see both of them.
When both gold and the NQ, NASDAQ, pump simultaneously, it often signals a risk-on environment where the market is ignoring traditional negative correlations. Typically, gold is a flight to safety asset while the NQ is a high-growth tech proxy. This synchronized move suggests broad liquidity expansion or collective relief rally following the JOLTS data, indicating that capital is aggressively flowing into both growth and safe haven assets at the same time. In practical terms, watch for a divergence where one begins to stall while the other continues. If the NQ hits resistance and rolls over, gold might stay elevated, signaling that investors are starting to hedge against potential weakness in tech stocks. Always monitor the USD, DXY, as the primary bridge, as a weakening dollar often provides the underlying fuel for both to rally in tandem.
And see, he'll remember things. You can have him compare things if you want to. You just have to go from one symbol to the other so he, during your session within that memory, right? So, sounds good. How's NVIDIA doing? Is there any correlation to that and what this pump is doing for the NASDAQ? So let's just gather some extra data from there. He's not going to predict that far out. He'll tell you what the high time frame is, but
this NASDAQ MNQ rally currently trading at 197.84 with strong buy-side institutional flow. Because NVIDIA holds significant weight in the tech-heavy NASDAQ index,
so
its price expansion
NVIDIA
for the
must
200
be
psychological
running.
level directly drives the jump pressure you're seeing in the NQ. The correlation here is mechanical. When NVIDIA clears its nearby institutional support at 197.50 and maintains momentum, it removes the anchor, holding the NASDAQ back, allowing the index to test its own resistance levels. Watch NVIDIA closely. If it fails to reclaim and hold
Seems
above
the tech
200,
industry is
it will
pushing it.
likely act as a leading indicator for an NQ rotation back toward the 30,337
Okay.
support.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Let's go back to the MNQ. Price is still driving high. How high do you think that they would push this before institutions will likely step in? Yeah, it's still driving. You don't like the conflict though, so I'm curious to see where this lands.
Are currently focused on the next major resistance cluster near 30,727.1.
Oh, that's the one we put way up here.
The current institutional flow remains negative, suggesting that any sustained push higher might be met with increasing sell pressure rather than support. Price is effectively testing the boundaries of the institutional range, and institutions typically step in to fade these moves when they see a failure to reclaim levels on high volume or a divergence between price and the underlying institutional flow. I would watch for a lack of expansion above 30,400. If the market fails to clear that level convincingly, expect them to defend their range with incoming sell pressure.
So keep in mind, Bond, just you gotta ask him in a certain way. If I say, "Hey, where's this going in 6 months?" He's gonna shoot that down. He's not going to give you that kind of prediction. Nobody really knows, right? But if I say, "Hey, where how does this look on the high time frame?" He'll tell you that. So, like, if I go to what is theirs? It's like SPC, right? Yeah. What does this one look like on the high time frames? Any expectations or things to watch for if I were to do more of like a spot buy? So yeah, if you give it time, he's gonna shoot you down because he's not gonna do
SPCX
that.
is currently in a complex consolidation phase, sitting inside a 5 minutes bearish order block, 162.55 to 166.00, while holding above its institutional pivot at 161.69. For a longer-term spot position, the lack of clean higher timeframe structure and the presence of negative institutional flow suggest high risk. Price needs to decisively reclaim and hold the 166.17 level to confirm a structural shift toward the 169.91 resistance. If you are looking at a spot entry,
Nice little
patience
trend
is the
there.
best play here. Wait for price to exhaust this current consolidation and show a clear break and hold of the 166 range. Jumping in now risks getting trapped in the current chop, where the negative institutional flow could lead to a retest of the major support cluster near 160 before any meaningful expansion can occur.
I'm gonna watch this level here, guys. See this expansion right here is kind of weak for a critical level. If this pulls down and taps and expands again, then we'll just keep trending. Any kind of breakdown of this structure and below these lows here is gonna be pretty violent. So I'm just kind of watching it. But you see what I mean? Yeah, you can take high time frame, low time frame. He's a trader. He's not an investor, so he's not gonna be very open to duration. So yeah, see how we're pulling. So watch those jumps, because if those jumps get absorbed south, then sellers finally are stepping in. But you can see perfect 50% retracement bounce. So let's wait and see. I want to see that structural move. And again, the best part is, guys, you got to think about it. If it moves up and you don't take it, you got to get out of the mindset of you got to take every trade. That'll get you in trouble. So this is Nasdaq on this futures. So we're just going through with Neo here, but his so far his you can consider him right or wrong today, right? But he has not really said we're gonna dump or we're gonna pump. He said things aren't lining up. It's not making sense, right? It's the most neutral I've seen him be since we've done this. So which is not bad. If stuff's not lining up, it's better to not take the trade, let it line up before you pull that trigger. So because at some point we're gonna line up and it's gonna go, okay, it's clear, right? Do you see any potential clear shift in the M&Q, or is it still complex with the institutional positioning?
The market remains complex because price is currently pinned between bullish structure and negative institutional flow, creating a tug-of-war scenario. Until you see a clean expansion away from the 30,377.1 support level or a clear rejection of the 30,585.02 institutional resistance, the institutional conflict will likely keep the movement choppy and prone to whipsaws. Think of this as a consolidation zone where the smart money is currently testing for liquidity before committing to a larger move. A clearer shift will only materialize once the institutional flow aligns with the bullish structure.
You guys see those
Wait for the
DOM drops?
30,400 level to hold as a base for a push toward 30585 before getting aggressive.
You see those DOM drops, guys? They're trying to come in on the sellers. So for me, I want to see this fail to create that high. I need to see structural failure, right? We just talked about it was holding the 50%, held it, usually creates expansion. It did. that we were ripping. Nice. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, so let's just watch. It's interesting because the data he has is still showing that the institutions are preparing to potentially sell, but the retail's pushing it. Is any of this stuff making more sense now, or is it still a little off based on what this price is doing compared to what institutions are doing? Do you see any pivot that leads you to believe that maybe institutions are setting up an order flow negative to bait people into thinking we're dropping? I want to challenge them. You always want to challenge them. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of pushing for on that. So
It is beginning to make sense, but the current conflict is intentional. Institutions are essentially creating a liquidity trap by keeping the price elevated above the 30,407.1 immediate reaction level while the underlying flow remains negative. This often lures retail buyers into long positions, providing the necessary buy-side liquidity for larger players to distribute their sell orders at higher prices. Watch the 30,407 level closely. If price loses this pivot and fails to reclaim it on the next 1-minute candle, it would confirm that the current bullish push is indeed an inducement for a larger move downward. The structure is currently expensive and disconnected from the negative flow, so prioritize capital preservation until we see a clean breakdown below this immediate reaction level.
Yeah, I got 466.
yeah. Let's see. It is very interesting.
Bookmap showing that front running that. So you got
Mm.
450, 455. We've just loaded up.
Isn't it weird, man? Like, I don't know if you see it too, but I mean, I agree with Neo on this. The push is expanding a little farther than what it seems the institutions would normally defend. So it's definitely a tricky one on this one.
Yeah, COTS report, they removed 150,000
Look,
short contracts.
look at this. We hit that damn 750 that he said yesterday. That's crazy. Well, and that's the thing. I'm just gonna call you user, right? And that's what Neo will identify. You're right. You know, Neo, the retail doesn't push anything unless they want them to push it. And the way that the institutions work on that is, if retail's going to keep buying, they're going to keep letting them buy. They're going to let off the brake a little bit and say, take this as high as you want. And it's going to be the moment that they have enough liquidity to pull that trigger, right? That's what creates that cascade of reversal. So um yeah, very interesting, guys. Very interesting. I actually am happy that Neo is expressing caution today. And those just joining right out the gate, he didn't like this move at all. So he's still stubborn about it. He's not saying we're dumping. But even notice how I said, could they be trapping people short by saying, because he's saying institutions are still trying to look to short. They're still, like unloading some orders here and there. What he doesn't like, so he told everybody out the gate. So I don't know if anybody took any trades from this or if you're stuck in something. Pretty much this entire move, he's like, neutral stance. I don't like it. I'm like, go long? Nope. Institutionals showing increasing selling, but the price is moving up farther than it should. Kind of like he did that one day on that Friday or whatever. And the whole way I'm like, can we go long? Nope. Neutral. Should we go short now? Nope. Neutral. Okay. And so you gotta be patient, guys. He's not gonna get it that 10 minutes every day, right? But what I keep grilling him on is the institutional data flipping. That's the most important thing to me right now. Is are they flipping? Because if they begin to flip bullish, then yeah, we jumping. He threw out some ridiculous target like way up here, like 30,727. We could go there. Good job. Well, and man, that's the best thing I love that people are realizing. Some don't really get it because they're newer or they're gamblers. Trading is not always I'm in 10 minutes, I'm out. Like I'm in 10 minutes out, right? Like, and I'm with them, man. Like the push doesn't this deep of a push, I'll say, doesn't quite line up. And if he were to tell me the institutional stuff is flipping and they're supporting this, then I'm all about it, right? I'm gonna flip my bias. I'll wait for some kind of pull retest, and I'm gonna write it up. Until then, we all had a great day yesterday. I don't have no reason to push this. I'll let it roll. Now, see the trend line that I'm just kind of watching? We had a deep little sweep of it, absorption, and we're closing above it. I mean, it's still not showing real weakness yet. I need to see something like absorption without expansion, a close below there, then we'll start to see a real deep pull. And that at that point, we begin the potential trend reversal. So, and again, if you don't know what to look for, the best thing you guys can do is, with such a big push up, what would I look for this to show me for a confirmed trend reversal? Because I don't like taking longs this far up in the range.
To confirm a reversal here, you need to see it
See the
clearly
expansion?
sustain the current move.
If it can
Specifically,
close
by price
there, we're going to
breaking
sleep
below
here.
the 3,377.1 support and then failing to reclaim it on the subsequent pullback. This confirms that the recent push was just an inducement, a fake move designed to trap buyers, and that institutional flow is now firmly back in control.
See?
In
Now we're
practical
sweeping.
terms, wait for price to reject the
This might be it.
3,435.62 resistance level
Let's
and then
see.
break the 1-minute trend line at 3,348.50. If price closes back below that level and starts printing lower highs, you have your structural confirmation that the bullish exhaustion is complete.
So this right here looks very top-like. Every time we've pulled, we've had deep absorption. Now we're not getting that yet. So typically, like I was telling you, a failed expansion here usually brings the sellers in, which will drive it back down into these lows here. So let's give it a second. We'll just see if he's seeing them step in. Looks like we just failed to expand past that 440 and we're below Lisbon now. Do you see sellers trying to step in here, or do you think they're trapping shorts? Currently I'm on the 15-second, just because I'm using him mostly for the TA.
The current price action
Look at see the sellers trying to come in. Let's see if they can
while
expand
showing
it.
a rejection of the recent high, is still technically holding above the immediate institutional support at 3,405.62. This suggests that sellers are currently testing the waters, but without a confirmed break and hold below the 3,405 support, it is just as likely that the market is trapping short sellers to fuel another leg up. I wouldn't commit to a short yet. Watch for a clean, impulsive flush below 30,405, followed by a failed retest of that level.
See the absorption we're starting to get, guys? It sweeps there.
But until then, the negative institutional flow is still competing with the underlying bullish structure.
What I'm watching for is, as this pulls here, we got deep absorption. Any kind of this absorption here, I want to see it start to reject on these levels because it just keeps blowing back through them, right? And so we did get a little structure break. To come up and retest it is not abnormal. So, yeah. So let's see where this goes. There's another absorption, guys. See, sellers are starting to come in. It could be a potential head and shoulder for them. Let's see. 15-second is kind of looking like a really good clean head and shoulders. Do you see enough support change to believe this is going to break out pretty deep yet? So we have a whole shoulder it can create, so just be patient. But I'll be right back one sec, guys. Well, those in the mentor group, remember we talked about keeping your volume low. So hopefully, if you took some trades, you still have that volume low. How are you guys doing over there? Anybody taking trades? What setup as the AI am I using? So this setup is an AI that we created. This is our website, nextstepalgo.com. TradeVision is the AI that we're using. So he's a commercial AI. It's not built on my desktop. It's not Claude. He's grabbing a lot of data, everything from retail stuff, volume, institutional data, a lot of data. So, and he's been absolutely spot on every day for weeks. Today I will still argue is spot on because he out the gate was like, I don't like this. He called the market open move where he said we would likely I forgot what he said. He said we'll likely push up or down, and then we did that on the market open move. On the jolts, where was the jolts one? He said he would sweep a certain level and then pull it back. I mean, he was on point with that. But he just, the whole time he's just like, I don't like this. So, but I didn't hear what he said. Let's see, 380. So it seems like 380 is the one line in the sand. So this is where he's not looking to take any kind of short until you get below 380. Do you think there's any potential that this big push north was an absolute inducement and that they're going to dump this really hard once the institutions step in? I want to see if because remember before he'll be like, absolutely. So if he hesitates, see we're getting this low. This is a classic
The setup
reversal,
remains
guys.
in a high tension state where the big push could
See,
absolutely
50%
function as an
retracement,
inducement
it's a
to trap
reversal.
buyers before a larger dump. Because we are currently testing the 30,405.62 major gamma support, a failure to bounce here, followed by a swift rejection, would confirm that the institutional flow is successfully forcing a lower value
Got the
rotation.
trap.
Until
So
price
here's the
clears the
380.
30,315.62
Also
support
got the
floor.
shoulder.
However, you have to be cautious about calling a hard dump too early. If institutional sellers step in with force,
Here's
they
that
will
head and
target the
shoulders off the 405.
30,315 zone. A sustained break there would be your green
Here's
light.
the
The
380.
institutional trap has resolved to the downside.
So it's testing that neckline, also the 380. So usually when you get this, watch how this behaves. This is what I typically teach. This indicator we have is so good. It's so good. Nice, good job. Yeah, it with all the expansion, absorption north on the low time frame, mixed with the lower pulls and then flip there, it's showing sellers are coming in. So, we're clean head and shoulders right now. So he still says institutional south, but notice how no matter how many different ways I ask him, he's still leaning like he thinks it's gonna pull, but he just won't commit to how deep or where, or he's a little more hesitant. So take that as it is. Maybe you lower your volume or you don't trade. You guys have been on, like I said, for weeks that I like yesterday. I was like, man, we're bullish. Are we going up? Nope, we're bearish. We going up? Nope, we bearish. We're going to 295. I'm like, you sure? Yep. I mean, he was stubborn as hell. And so the 380 is his spot. It's also a pattern, so you can take our shorts from within. But if they induce this to where, like you said, it's a trap on the bears, and this thing shoots up here, it shouldn't do that. You're gonna want to, stop out of that anything that gets above these highs. So, because again, to me, reading it, it looks like we should continue to pull, but it's interesting when I hear him say, I wouldn't bank on a drop, right? That's such a different tone from yesterday where he was like, this could be a bloodbath. Right? And so those little word changes, and look at this jump. So if this don't jump and absorb, again, his hesitation should tell you something, right? So, and look at that close right off the head and shoulders and a jump. So if it don't reject here soon, any kind of close above that shoulder is gonna likely induce more. So let's just keep watching. We'll stay on a little bit. It's 10:44. we typically pivot to options at 11. I may extend us a little bit here just to see what this does. But yeah, I mean, I can't get him to commit at all, no matter what I ask him, to confirming a dump or how deep it is. So that in itself tells you something. So I see what you mean. We just had that kind of break of 380, but then they're pumping this back up to 405. Where do you see them sending this, or do you think this pump up is just corrective before we begin a downtrend? I'm gonna keep probing them. See, it still has to break that high to get full validation. If it comes back below that 50%, then it was just a
The
corrective stop
pushback
line.
to 30,404.12 is likely a dead cat bounce, or a retest of the immediate institutional resistance level, which often precedes a failed breakout attempt. If this pump exhausts below the 30,404 level and starts showing lower highs on the 1 minute, it strongly points toward this being a corrective move before the next leg down. I'd watch for a clean rejection at this 30,404 resistance zone. If it fails to reclaim and hold above this level, the bearish setup remains the path of least resistance. You're currently seeing a bearish leg near origin risk, meaning if they can't break back above these recent highs quickly, the downside expansion should accelerate.
See that? If this thing dumps, now he's saying accelerate, right? That's why I love these examples, guys. And whether you're trading today or not, if you've taken losses or not, like I'm on these lives with you guys because I want to show you how to continue to maximize his use. Notice how I'm not just, what's the bias? Where's it going? Cool. And I don't talk to him anymore. I'm asking, I'm grilling him. I'm like, where are we going? Does this? Oh man, it bounced. What did that bounce do? What do you think? And he just mentioned it's likely a dead cat bounce and that it's going to trap some inducement of people who've been very bullish and it's going to come down. And if we break, key levels, it's going to give accelerated expansion. So, and if I don't know what that means, watch. Can you elaborate on what accelerated expansion means? What would this need to break, and how far would it go to get institutionals to start participating? One second, I'll answer that. Let me let him talk. He's gonna talk in a second. He's thinking about it.
Accelerated expansion happens when price breaks a major bottleneck or liquidity level, triggering a cascade of stop losses and automated orders that push price rapidly in one direction. Essentially, once price moves past a heavily defended institutional wall, the market stops rotating and begins to chase the next major liquidity gap. For this move, a sustained break and hold below the 30,314.55 gamma support is your primary trigger. Once this barrier fails, you can expect an aggressive dump toward the 30,234.12
Oh, he said dump. Oh, shit.
major institutional support.
Let's see if it plays out
Institutions
now.
often don't join the chase until the immediate support is confirmed broken, so look for a high volume candle close below 30,314 as the signal that the accelerated phase has begun.
There you go. So, if you're a scalper, do your thing, right? But he's saying, the accelerated pace would be, it needs to get below 314. And anything short of that, we might just be in distribution where they just keep trapping. So let's keep watching. But again, always talk to them. If you see something and you're curious, hey, I see this, what is that? Hey, I see this, what is that? Pay attention to him, his tone, his demeanor. Like, I do that a lot, right? Obviously, because working with him a lot, I test him a ton. And so when all morning today, he was just very neutral. Possible consolidation doesn't line up, a little conflicting, right? He wasn't budging on, like, I don't like this. Now you notice, like, up here, he's like, I wouldn't count on a big move. Well, now he's like, looking at it, if we get below 314, we're gonna create a little acceleration because they're likely to step in. And so those little changes of words are important, right? Because he's AI, he's gonna move on that. So let me answer your question on this. So guys, and then I'll flip back. This is Neo, for those just joining. He's our AI that we created in our company. He's been absolutely spot on for weeks. And I, again, today's subjective if you think he was spot on, because he basically told you to stay out. He's like, we got news. institutions are selling, but price is moving rapid north. That doesn't line up with what institutions are doing. Like, he was very hesitant. He's like, I'm neutral, and he hasn't been like that in weeks. And so it's all web based. So you just go to nextstepalgo.com, and we do a free trial 3 days on there that you can do. You just click on TradeVision and start the free trial. And there's nothing crazy you need to do. He's AI. You just talk to him. So you just come in, select your symbol that you want. When you click here, I just choose MNQ or NQ or whatever you're trading. And if it is something he supports, it'll pop up. If you want to check down below, we have all of the symbols that he supports down below. So other than that, there's really nothing crazy. We have some instructions, notifications, things that we're going to be working on to send out to kind of help people maximize this use. But at the end of the day, it's no different than what I'm doing with them. I'm just talking to them. If I see something, I'm going to ask them. And so you can say, based on the average price per move, as well as 50% style retracements, do you see any weakness in this push that might lead me to believe that it's going to pull back or consolidate? And then I'll touch on the membership part in a second. I didn't get that part, sorry. Let's let him talk.
The current structure shows significant buyer weakness, as the latest push failed to reach the previous high and has already reclaimed and lost the 50% retracement level. Since the recent swing lost its mid-50 support and the bearish expansion score remains high at 75, this setup is currently favoring a breakdown rather than a continuation. You should view this as a bearish leg near origin risk,
Yeah, so be
where
careful
any
with your
further
longs,
inability
Lace.
to reclaim the 30,375.32 level will likely lead to an accelerated move lower. The fact that the swing range is below average and the 50% retrace failed confirms that sellers are effectively absorbing the remaining buy-side liquidity.
So he's watching that 375. If we can't push with volume and hold it, he keeps saying, you see how he keeps saying words like accelerated, dump, like I listen to those words, guys. I don't know. I want to see this how this goes. As far as what membership you have, so a couple things about me and our company. I never dilute anything just because of cost. So we have two plans. We were only going to do one. We decided to do two because I wanted people to have the ability to get him for a very cheap price. Today is the last day of the month. So basic is on sale. It's normally $100 a month, and you can get it for $50 a month. If you subscribe, it stays locked in forever. So I've been pretty forward and honest with everybody that starting pretty much tomorrow, it's going to go to back to the $100 for that one. It does not dilute his TA. The only thing that is difference between basic and pro, if you go to the compare plans, is what you can do. So in pro, you can do options, stocks, crypto, and actual forex once we get that push. Whereas on the basic, you get to do futures, right? Now that's the only difference on that. And then you get quick replies versus the normal and detailed. Quick replies are still detailed, guys. He has code in there that lets him override that if he feels the information is very viable. And look at it's still bleeding down. And then the personalities. The funny thing, and most of you know, a lot of people are getting pro because of the personality. I had like 6 people DM me. They're like, "Dude, I had to get pro because sarcastic and uncensored is just off the hook." Like I don't have them on uncensored right now, which I probably should have. Let's put them on uncensored. So, but the pro is 250, so it's on sale. That one will probably stay on sale, but the basic we gotta bring that one up a bit. I don't know if anybody's taken any of these shorts, but you know we're beginning that kind of bleed out descent. So keep in mind, remember I think he said 315 is when institutions are likely going to step in, and we'll see a kind of a mean drop or whatever he said. But remember he said if I can't reclaim 75 and we break that low, you know, we're going to get expansion. And so that played out. I don't know if anybody took that short, but that's the thing is even if you miss all this stuff here, guys, if you took, you know, like I saw a few, you took the shorts off the top from the head and shoulders, or you took the short right here, you know, now you're making money. And that is trading, guys. Trading is not always, let me click the button. Let me click the button. Look at his dropping. He literally called that top as he shifted in the tone. And again, depending on what questions and how you're interpreting what he's saying, you could debate the call at the top. But this is why I like to articulate as he's saying it. Listen to his words, because notice his biggest shift. Like, this is pretty unlikely. This is doing this. This is pretty unlikely. This is a corrective bounce. This is a before a deeper move. Like those words are huge. Um, so what I had mentioned, Noah, do not panic. Everybody in this community knows I am so easy to work with. I am the most important thing on the trial is that y'all have time to test them. That's it. I'm not trying to go, well, sorry, you guys better sign up. Um, I'll talk to Alex, and I don't have an issue with if you finish your free trial and it's tomorrow, or let's say you started it today and it's the next day. um, the coupon is gone. You just make a quick support ticket. Hey, I'm on this trial. I love it. Ready to sign up. And then I'll probably come up with a like a side coupon that I can give you that will give you that price. So don't worry about it, guys. I'm not out here to try to pressure you guys to do something quicker. I want you guys to try it. Like, he's amazing. He's been calling things so good. Now, again, I'm going to continue to do these things every morning, Monday through Friday, talk about it, preach it, because I want you guys to see questions you should ask, things you should do, how to get them to do certain things. Now, to let you know, now that we're mostly done with him, we're going to start our kind of, I just refer to it as like an information campaign. We're going to have notifications that will come out. So if you see a little one up here, just click it. It's going to be little quick tips of things you can do to ask them. And then we're going to do like in this community chat area, wherever that may be. There's in this community chat area, I'm going to start doing, kind of also daily, did you knows, maybe I'll call it like, did you know NEO can do this? Did you know NEO can do that? It's going to be like an information campaign. I'm going to do more videos on that because I really want people using them to the max of the potential. So now, if you DM me and you're like, hey, I'm not great with technology, or I'm having trouble. I mean, if I can make that time within, which usually I do, I have no issue. I got on a Google Meet with someone this morning. I don't know if you're still in here, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. And I happened to see it. And I was like, yeah, let's get on a Google Meet. I have no issue. I want to make sure you guys are good. And so now where I'm gonna kind of expand with that, guys, this is huge. This is where he said institutions are likely going to step in. So I'm curious. I'm curious how deep this thing goes, guys. There's not a lot of setup, and I think that's the biggest confusion from a lot of people, is that it's just web based. You if you're having an issue, it's different. Now, the one thing, and we do have some more things that we're going to be putting out here soon that will help people, I think, a little more. It's not very different than how you would function. This is a NASDAQ. How you would function like ChatGPT, right? You have a field, you can type it in it, you can choose one of the questions, you can type, like if you love to look for liquidity, you can type in liquidity, it's going to give all the questions of that if you don't know what to ask. The biggest one that seems to be getting some people is when I talk to NEO, I am pushing a microphone here. That's how I do it. At some point, we may do like an open thing where you can just unlock it and just talk to him, but not anytime soon. When you push the microphone, it'll go blue. And then as you see, while it's blue, I'm talking and it's typing. When I'm done talking, I don't have to push the microphone. I can just send it like that. If I want to stop the microphone, I can just stop the microphone. But you got to send it. There's actually more people than you would think that will start talking and then say nothing's happening, like I don't get it, like is it broken, and you still got to send the button, right, which is similar to any of the open AIs out there. And so but we're working on a campaign of just you know, filling some of those educational gaps, and so just be patient on that part. But so that, yeah, but this is the Nasdaq on this, guys. We're just watching. Let's check in with them and see. So we ended up breaking the 314. That was this kind of cascade of institutional pushing. Remember, we did this yesterday, guys. We literally went up, 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 and then we just bled down for days. And so whether that's going to happen, I don't know. We'll have to ask him. But we did end up hitting his level. We jumped just using standard trend stuff. You know, you can pull that 50%. And if we wick, close below, it's going again. If we jump up here, close above, then we're going to get some expansion, right? So let's see. We ended up pulling down pretty hard from that 405 level, but the buyers are starting to come in pretty good. Do you think that was just kind of a just a retest and we're going to push back up? Has your bullish or bias flip bullish? I'm going to let him answer, guys. I got to go get some water real quick. One sec.
Don't get tricked by a bounce into thinking the bias has flipped. The structure is still screaming bearish continuation after that lower high and lower low. We're just chopping around that major 30,311.55 gamma support, and until I see a sustained reclaim of the 30,372.45 resistance, this is just a dead cat bounce in a downtrend. You're watching the sellers get better while the buyers are clearly struggling to hold any real ground. Stay focused on the breakdown at 30,311. If that level gives way, the selling pressure is going to get real ugly, real fast.
All right. Got a little bounce. Yeah, sorry. I live in South Carolina, man, and yesterday was hot, and I was out playing softball in that heat, and about damn died from dehydration. So I got that like dry mouth thing going on. Oh, I love East Coast, but that humidity is whew. What do we got? 311, 3. So he said failure to reclaim 372. So that was the number he was looking at, is right there. We're pressing up against that 372 now. Do you see anything in the institutional data that would suggest they might drive this back down, or that drop was a bait? Let's see. Nice. Yeah, I'm in Myrtle Beach.
That 30,371.55 level is a major gamma wall acting as an immediate institutional ceiling, and the sell side flow is still aggressive enough to suggest this push is just an attempt to tap liquidity before another dump. The data is screaming compression, and if buyers fail to clear that wall with real conviction, you're looking at a classic trap where price gets stuffed back down toward the 30,312 support. Don't mistake this for reversal yet. The negative institutional flow is still confirming the bearish bias, so unless price breaks and holds
Ooh,
decisively
we got actually a
above
wider head and shoulders. See that? I
30,372,
just noticed.
assume that wall holds and
Interesting.
keeps the pressure on the downside. If you see a rejection candle right at that wall, it's a high probability spot for the next leg down.
I'm gonna mute some of this. I was just having to zoom out, and yeah, it's forming a little bit of a higher time frame head and shoulder now. Interesting. Interesting. but he's still stubborn. And oh, nice. Yeah, we moved down here a couple years back from North Carolina, but we were over more in like the Sanford area over there. We had a bunch of land over there. I miss my land, but I do like the beach. So conflict like Neo today. I'm conflicted. I was conflicted. It looks like now the 1 minute's got a little bit of a head and shoulder kind of forming. Is there a chance this one might play out? It's very interesting to me, which I think is why you were conflicted, because the price definitely moves farther than it should on these expansion moves based on what the institutions are trying to do. Nice. I want to see if I can get him to sway.
You're right. That potential head and shoulders on the 1 minute chart is exactly why the institutional read is conflicted. While the overall structure is showing seller weakness, that 30,371.55 gamma wall is still acting as a magnet for stops and a ceiling for price, keeping the market trapped in this compression range. If that pattern resolves with a confirmed break and hold above 30,372, it invalidates the short-term bearish pressure and opens up room for a real liquidity run. Just keep in mind that until price clears that wall with expansion volume, the institutions are still using it to absorb buy orders and keep the downside risk in play.
Yeah, he is not budging on that. Watch, and I want you guys to challenge him. Watch. Okay, so should I be looking for bullish right now then, or wait for pullbacks and take longs like scalps? I want to see if he's gonna tell me no. I'm gonna keep challenging him to see where his mind is on that at times.
Do not chase long here. The market is just grinding into that 30,381.55 gamma wall with negative flow, and that's a classic setup for a trap. If you really want to play the long side, you need to be disciplined and wait for a clear pullback to test support at 30,311.55. Then look for a bounce confirmation before even thinking about a scalp. Forcing a long into that wall is a great way to get crushed when the institutions decide to flush it back down. Be patient, let the pullback happen, and only pull the trigger if price shows strength at the support, not while it's smashing into the ceiling.
Would you take a long in this environment, or would you just wait for it to go up and take shorts? Remember, he keeps saying, I'm neutral. I'm neutral. So I want to see if what he says. I'm trying to see if I can get him to sway. He's still more short right now. So be careful on your longs. He's thinking about it like, what do I really want to say? Stumped him. Oh, really stumped him on that one. Dun, dun, dun. I don't think he wants to answer that one. This is the longest he's ever taken to answer. I'm gonna let it go for a little bit. If it doesn't answer, I might refresh because my Chrome gets cached. It's annoying. It's web based, but
In this environment,
okay.
taking a long is
He
pure
just
gambling
was
because
thinking
you're
about it
fighting the
apparently.
negative institutional flow and that massive bearish structure bias. I wouldn't touch a long here unless the market proves it can reclaim and hold above the key structural highs with overwhelming volume. The smarter play is to wait for the market to exhaust its push and look for a clean rejection signal at resistance to ride the institutional flow back down. Don't force a trade against the primary flow. Wait for the structure to show its hand, then fade the failed push.
That makes sense. So if we get back up to the 405, we should look for a failed push rejection back down, or since we've already kind of pushed up above 380, what would we look to take a short if it breaks back below? When would the volume step in again? Look at this shoulder just forming like this shoulder's got more strength than it should though. It's interesting. We just blew through the 50% and
You're hitting the nail on the head. You want to
there.
see that push into the 30,391.55 resistance fail to hold, meaning price pokes up, stalls, and then aggressively rejects back
appreciate
below that
Armando.
level.
He's
That's
getting
your
better.
trigger. If price breaks back down, look for volume to spike as it reclaims the zone, signaling that the breakout was just a liquidity grab to trap eager buyers.
He said pushing to 91, and we literally just, that last candle hit 91. Now, he wouldn't have seen this candle because remember, guys, the moment I press the buttons to engage, he's grabbing the data, and so we literally hit 91. I don't know if it no, it's not this side. Oh, yeah, I don't know where you got that number from. So let's see. Yeah, it again, you know, read into always what he's saying, and the whole day he's been very more neutral. The only thing is, what's funny is, and I know a couple people you picked up on it. He's very neutral, and he's open to longs, but he wants pullbacks. You notice that? Like, I'm good with a long, but I need you to pull back to 311, I think he said, and then confirm bounce. So he's open to it. Whereas yesterday, I'm like, you know, where would I take a long? I wouldn't take a long. I'd be short. You know, if it breaks this level, it's gonna be bad. And so he's open to longs and shorts. You know, and he's mentioned a few times that data is conflicting, and that there's a chance that institutions might let retail just drive this up. So, um, yeah, it definitely could be an invalidation, and as well as a breakout. If I'm guiding on this, guys, my biggest thing, especially with such deep expansion from here, from this shoulder to see it be viable, just take your high-low, pull back. As this breaks that 58, you're likely going to hit the 50%. If it breaches the 50%, it's going to just absolutely sweep. So we got a little double top here. This is huge. Everybody knows who I teach. When you see things like this on the micro, with the doji, with the clean close, this absorption matters on Heikinashi. Any push and close above shows you the micro bearish structures are failing, meaning that we're likely to still go up. If this expands through into what this would be possible, maybe a head and shoulders of sort, that shows you that it's still lining up bearish stuff. You see what I mean? And so at the end of the day, when you're watching these low time frames, it's not about like entry necessarily, direction, all that. It's more, are the low time frames doing what supports that higher time frame move? And so if we have a higher time frame head and shoulders, we need lower time frame double tops to play out. If they don't, sums up, you know, it's a trap. So any change in the data or key levels we should be watching? Man, I had to down like 2 gallons of water.
The resistance level at 30,371.85 has tightened significantly, and with buy fraction dropping to 22.8%, the institutional flow is clearly tilted towards sell pressure. Price is currently testing an immediate resistance, and any failure to push through here with conviction makes a move back toward the 30,312.05 support the path of least resistance. Watch for an aggressive rejection here. If it happens, that's your confirmation that the buyers are tapped out. Don't chase the long into that wall. Keep your eyes on the breakdown if it can't clear this level.
Is there anything in there in the data that would show maybe that they're trying to set up these head and shoulders to trap sellers just to send it north? Let's see, we're getting the sweep. I want to see if he...
The data shows
Got
the
the
market
sweep.
is heavily compressed and sitting right on that 30,372.11 major institutional support level. When you see a controlled bullish pullback, despite negative institutional flow and bearish structure, it's a classic setup to potentially trap sellers who are chasing the breakdown. If price holds this 30,372 support and starts carving out a head and shoulders base, the trap is exactly what you're looking for. Wait for that final sweep below the head that fails to find new sellers before looking for an aggressive long. If the volume profile shifts back to buy-side dominance, you've got your reversal signal.
And there you go. This latest move that just happened, that exploded back up to 405, would you be looking for pullback longs primarily and not take any shorts? What would you do? What would your trading plan be? I'm just going to grill him, see what he says, what he does. So this is tricky. You got head and shoulders, and then I see what you're
That
seeing.
explosion
Inverse.
in price with a 78%
Mixed
buy
with
fraction
head and
confirms the
shoulders.
buyers are in control for now.
So
So chasing shorts into that momentum is suicide. My trading plan shifts to looking for pullback longs only, specifically into the 30,371 area, to see if it holds as new support for the next leg up. I'm absolutely ignoring shorts unless we see a clear reversal structure and a breakdown of that support level with heavy sell volume. Don't fight the tape when the buy side is clearly aggressive. Let the pullback happen, confirm the bounce, and then align with the trend.
And there you go. He does great in Asia. Yeah, he pulls all the data all the time. He has his own data. Yeah, guys, you don't have to set him up, do settings, click on anything, nothing. He's got his own data. But today's ending up about as tricky as he said it was going to be early on. So, but notice the little pivot of I'm prioritizing, pullback longs because the pullbacks are aggressive. And you can ask him, watch. Can you break down the pullback percentages? Who's winning that battle and what percentage by what percentage? So he'll do the math on it. You can figure out.
The bulls are absolutely crushing it with an 86% buy fraction, and their pullbacks are remarkably shallow at just 13.8%. Compare that to the bearish drops, which are forced to retrace over 286% on average, showing that sellers are constantly being trapped and forced to cover. Essentially, every dip is being bought up instantly because sellers can't sustain any downside pressure. You're looking at a market where the bulls are winning by a landslide.
Look at the
using these
405
tiny
rejection
pullbacks
he
as
called
fuel for
earlier.
the next leg up.
Man, we're getting some deep pullback on this 405 rejection. Was that still the institutional area that you said that was really strong, or what does that represent? Oh yeah, he makes me lazy. Guys know that who I teach, Fed. I haven't done
That
really any of my own TA here. I'm just doing it with you.
30,422.78 level is your institutional max change level, acting as a massive magnet and resistance
I
zone.
got 422.
When price hits that, you're seeing immediate profit taking and institutional hedging, which is why that rejection feels so violent. It's not just a random line on the chart, it's a structural ceiling where big money is actively managing their exposure. As long as we're bouncing around this area, expect the choppiness until someone forces a clean break through the institutional walls.
Yeah, he's absolutely made me lazy. And I'm purposely lazy with you guys because I want to show you what he can do, right? But I try to more so interpret it. But normally if I'm in here trading, I got my specific setup. I'm talking about, we got traps in here, we got indicators, retracement patterns, dojis. Like I'm constantly analyzing, talking about it. I'm purposely not doing that, and sometimes not purposely doing it, because I'm just like, let's see what he thinks, right? Because he can see so much more, and there's been more times that even when I think he's wrong, and I'm like, man, like maybe I gotta fix this. I'm like, we're going up, like this is crazy, and then it just dumps, and I'm like, well, shit, what do I know? I mean, because no matter how good you are as a trader, you don't know everything. Everybody has bad days, bad losses, bad weeks, months even, and nobody knows the market in a sense to where they always win. If they say that, they're selling you something. And the beauty with AI is he can see everything that I would want to look at as a trader. He can see it like that in like a second, and he can look at anomalies. He can look at what doesn't line up. And what's funny is this, whether you played some longs or you played shorts and got caught, or maybe you waited till he kind of called more of a top and played this short. Um, I'm not really upset with his TA today. So today was probably the one that I consider it a win, but you all have to make sure you listen to him because every day he's like, we're doing this and this, and then we're dumping. Like it's bearish. Should I take a long? No. Should I take a short? Yeah. Should I take a long? No. Like he would not sway. And today was the first day in a bit where he was like, I don't like it. Like this price is moving too much, too far for what the institutions are doing, and that's what he's comparing. He's looking at what the big monies are doing. The big money people will let it go as high as retail's willing to push it because the higher it goes, the more money they're gonna make when they dump it, right? This is Neo. He is the AI that myself and two others created for our company. You just go to nextstepalgo.com and you can try him out. Y'all can talk to him right now. I mean, you can talk to him on a cell phone, whatever. It's a website. So It's all commercial based, not on my desktop. You just go to TradeVision, NEO AI, and start talking to them. So, yeah, really simple. But yeah, so that's why as we were kind of pushing up, I'm like, look, guys, I'm not taking these longs, but he's proven me wrong too many times. So I'm patient. I'll be a patient trader when I'm patient. So I took a little bit on this pull, nothing aggressive. I don't want to be aggressive today. We had a great day yesterday. We caught a 500-point move. I don't need to be aggressive, and when you're trading, as you grow as a trader, you want to continue to lean on him, because that's what he's going to teach you. He's going to tell you, he's going to, help you understand, is that you're not going to make a ridiculous amount of money every day. I mean, ideally that's great, and some days maybe it'll look like that, but sometimes the reason people get wrecked, it's nextstepalgo.com in my bio as well. But the reason why you all get wrecked at times, and traders do, is because you force your strategy into every market condition every day, and then you get into a day like this, right, where maybe your bias was a little wrong, and you're like, we're pushing up, oh, we can't go much higher, and then it goes higher and you get wrecked, right? And so that's where Neo comes in. Is he's gonna help you through confidence. Either he's super confident that we're short, or he's super confident that we're long. But like today, when he comes out and is like, I would expect this. Like I knew right off the bat when he gave us the market open TA, and his range was like $70. Like he's never done that. Remember, and I started asking him, like, why is the range so, whatever? And he did say on open that we would do that sweep north up into this area, and then likely he would trap it back down here. And so that part, he didn't get on there, but in fairness, he said I would sweep it above 350, and if I can lose that level with a closed confirmed candle, I would sweep that. We never closed that candle, not even on the 15-second, guys. It never closed it once we left it, so it didn't confirm it. And so, and then ever since then, when it got to here, he's like, I'm not touching anything. I'm neutral, because this is pushing too much compared to what the institutions are doing. And so, we'll see what happens, as the day progresses. We've seen many of these times in my mentor group when we trade, and I don't know if it's going to happen this way, but where they will induce it like crazy, and then around 12:31, kind of that mid session and end of the now you got EU London closed, like end of session. US just takes over, takes all the profit, and then they just dump it all the way back. So, and you can look, again, we'll see how this plays out. Higher time frame, we got a push, a pull, a lower high. If this starts to break down and we break that neckline, man, the whole damn thing's gonna get reclaimed. It's just gonna go. So we'll see. But yeah, his hesitation today is why I'm hesitating today. I didn't trade too much on it, because I'm like, I don't like when you're, Mr. Confident out there is, talking about complex stuff, and it's tricky. So, because if he sees it as complex and he sees it as tricky, I promise you that you're going to probably see it that way too. Now, if you have a strategy out there that's working and you called it bullish today, congrats, right? That's awesome. Go for it. But I'm, as much as I've learned to trust Neo, man, I'd rather just not take a trade. It goes against what he's seeing. So, and that's the beauty of Neo, is that if you have a strategy, you could literally say what your strategy is, and he's going to validate if it's supported. He's not going to discredit anybody's stuff. So yeah, if anybody wants to try them out, guys, you can get the trial on there. And like I said, nextstepalgo.com. Let me look at one thing. Dun, dun, dun. So it's kind of what I'm mostly waiting for. I know we tend to flip to options, but we're gonna pause a little bit, because I want to see if we get this breakdown, because it could be really good. If you have a question, you can unmute. Go for it. Those are in the Google Meet. I think Divine One. You're on mute. I don't know if you can unmute.
Wondering, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi.
Hey.
I was wondering if you could repeat what you said about using the coupon.
Mhm.
Today's my first day.
Oh.
Yeah, and I want to utilize the 50%
Mhm.
coupon that you had.
Yeah.
And so how would that work, please?
So what you if you have not done the trial, what you can do,
I haven't.
go ahead and do the trial. Don't hesitate. I want you guys to try it. When you're done with the trial, if we don't, if I get enough people, I might expand it, another 5 days, right? Just to kind of not make it an issue. But if we don't expand it, I don't want you to hesitate because of that or to jump too early because of that. Do the trial. If you don't see the coupon, you just click the little question mark here, and then just put in there that your trial's about to end. You were kind of hoping to get that 50% off or whatever, and I'll just end up messaging you or email you and give you a code to use is all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and just utilize the 3 days.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely.
This is so exciting.
Oh, it's so cool. Isn't it awesome? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
beauty is not people are using him or under interpreting him because we're so ingrained in this industry to think of like, oh, buy sell signals, tools, etc. He's so much more than that. And so it's funny, although he's helped a lot of people be profitable, get payouts, all that. Uh and but the biggest feedback I love is the one that somebody said earlier, like, man, I would have took a short like way long ago. Like I would have been wrecked. I'm so glad that he's been telling me like, wait. Like that discipline is what is good. It's huge.
okay. I think I sent you a message yesterday, or somehow or another I connected with you yesterday, and I was the last one to ask the question. I said I'm very, very new,
Mm-hmm.
and how could Neo help me?
Yeah.
And so I'm still, of course, in that same position, but I really want to get in on the 50%, and I want to
Yeah.
just learn as much as I can. I have yet to make a trade. That's how new I am.
And that's perfect. My suggestion is when you go to our site, you're going to see on the left here, did you do the training courses yet?
No.
So when you click
No,
on...
I just got in this morning and
Gotcha.
started looking.
Gotcha. So when you click on the trading course, look for the one that says Trading Starter Kit. Because when you come into that one, it's all of our stuff, guys, is like a university style. It's not just a video. You're going to actually... this one's not super long. But when you come in, you literally open the book and it's going to read it to you. And when you can do the audio, you can mute the audio. The nice thing about this, especially for you or anybody who's like brand new, is Neo is incorporated into all of our training. So you can literally, as you're here, see how you can flip the pages. It's not a video. It's like an ebook. And if you get here and this whole thing goes through and you're like, I don't understand this, you can come over here and say, I'm trying to learn. I'm pretty new. I'm not quite getting these candles thing. Like, what are the red, green, and these little sticks coming out of them? And I mean, explain it to me like I'm a beginner or even a 5-year-old, let's say. And I'll just send it to him, right? And then you just tell him what you want him to do, right?
Think of each candle like a small story about what happened during that time period. The colored body shows you where the price started and where it finished, while those little sticks show you the highest and lowest prices reached during that time. Green usually means buyers were more aggressive and pushed the price higher, while red means sellers were more aggressive and pushed the price lower. Does that help you visualize how the market shows those transactions as a picture?
See what I mean? So he's going to tell you, and you can continue like conversationally. So I can say, oh, that makes a little more sense. How is this important in trading? And then you just send it. See, you can just talk to him and see. Watch, he's going to respond on this one, and then we'll pivot back. But you just talk to him, just like you were to talk to
Candles
me.
are important because they show you the battle between buyers and sellers in real time. By watching them, you can see if buyers are gaining strength or if sellers are taking control, which helps you manage your risk instead of just guessing.
And there you go. And you can ask them as many as you need. So, take this course. This is a really good one we did. It's not super, super long. You're going to have, little quizzes, workbooks, homework, cheat sheet. You can be as involved as you like. From there, anybody who's new, my recommendation would be in our trading courses, start with the lessons. So lesson 1, you have introduction. Lesson 2, 3, 4, follow through that path. Now, I don't want to scare you with all the ones that I just said, and because there's a lot of lessons that will continue to grow out. Our lessons are like, I think they're $30 with the coupon right now. So, and once you unlock it, it's lifetime. So, they're not.
Okay.
It's not like I'm out here going, these are $300, $800 courses. It's $30, guys. So yeah. So, but that's where I would start. Trading starter kit. When you get time, lessons, introduction. I love you said you haven't taken a trade because it's good. That's a good idea. You don't want to take a
Okay,
trade.
one other question.
Yeah.
What about charting? Where would I find information on how to chart?
Yeah, and so the first thing you want to do is get a TradingView account. So
I have one.
tradingview.com, perfect. And then once you get the TradingView account and kind of get familiar within that, this lesson stretch is going to do that. And so if you see, it'll say, little introduction of how NASDAQ works, why it moves, what it does, what's the importance. The next lesson is charting and foundations. It teaches you how to chart, how to draw things, candle structure, liquidity, goals. Then 3 goes into volatility, why it moves certain ways, the importance. So that's why we do these in that path, because it's going to teach you how to chart pretty much through that. And then I also do too. So if you're if you have questions you want me to show you, I can. I also have a mentor program that I do. And so, if you're looking for deeper kind of guidance or one-on-one or grouping within that, I do the mentorship program as well. So you can look at that. But yeah, and always don't hesitate to ask. I want to make sure everybody understands. So, and heck, if we got to get on a Google Meet for an hour to make sure you're set up, I'm very easygoing. You'll find that out. And so,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
no, appreciate the question. So, guys, this might be stubborn. I gotta probably pivot to options for these guys. Just try it out. Check it out. The website again, nextstepalgo.com. Really quickly, I will. Oops, let me pivot back out of that. The options is going to be part of our mentor session, which is here. The mentor session is we don't really have it's kind of where if I do any extra trading, like we trade Sunday Asia sometimes at 6 p.m. when we do pre-market trading 7:30 to 9, and then we do also other sessions as needed. And then each day we do options pretty much from 11 to whenever we're pretty much done. And so the way you get into the options session is you either have to be in the mentor program or the VIP. So the VIP gets you access to everything pretty much we have. All the trading courses, they're free pretty much to the end of time. I don't ever plan on trading or charging people in mentor program or VIP for trading courses. But you also get all the indicators. Also, a bunch of you guys signed up for VIP, but when you sign up for VIP, remember you get the indicators. We do sell indicators. These are all free. You don't pay for them. So all you have to do is when you want to do an indicator, you just find the one that you want, and then it'll say get free access because like mine is on VIP, and then I just request access. It's gonna say it's successful and it resets. Everything we do in our company is automated. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, guys, even if you did not take a trade today, be proud that you didn't take a trade today. Yeah. So Neo right out the gate, no matter how much this has moved and how well you may have read it or not, it's a tricky day. It is a tricky day. So we're moving up, but I'm kind of with Neo. I do think there's potential of getting pretty high. But anywhere up in these ranges, institutions can step in and just send this sucker down. Because if you take, I'm just gonna clear the lines since we're about done. If you take the overall, structure, how this is playing, we're clearing these prior highs, but we're coming into a lot of prior lows, right? A lot of rejection, possible areas, and so, could we keep expanding? Of course. This has strength written all over it as of right now. My biggest concern, which is why I stayed out most of this, where I might have took a good chunk of longs, is Neo's confliction of I'm not really liking what the institutions are doing here. Right? He's just like, the institutions, this is making it look a little sketchy. And that's enough for me to stay out or to just be patient and wait for a short. So when we flip to options, we're going to ask them about SPY. I mean, look at how overextended SPY is. And so if this comes down, fails to create a high, comes down and breaks that 50%, it's likely going to come create a lower low. If it doesn't, if we hold above and we hold above that 745, then it's going to expand north. And so, but that's where NEO comes in. But again, guys, those are that who didn't hear this earlier. If at times it feels like you don't know what to do with him or maximize his potential, if you don't know what to do, just ask him what to do. Is the best way I can explain it. And I showed that yesterday, where it's like, how do I maximize the use of you? What questions should I be asking? And especially like someone like yourself who's new, or anybody that's new. I'm new, I'm just starting out. Build me a trading plan, and he'll build you a trading plan. We just did an awesome update that we're going to continue to test. We're pretty positive it's sticking, and that's memory. So for instance, Divine One on that, if you come in right off the bat, just like you would me, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm new. I haven't even taken a trade. I want to learn this thing so bad. Like, what should I know? And if he says, well, what do you look for on this? Well, I don't know, because I've never even looked for that. All right, sounds good. Let's start with this. Like, he's gonna and he's gonna remember that. So as you progress with him in your development, he's gonna know that you're new. At least that's the intent that we're going with, which it should stick. And so just talk to him. Talk to him like he's a mentor, coach, friend, guide. He's just gonna get smarter. If you did well today, awesome. If you got stuck today, or you got a little beat up today, my only words of wisdom is, when you're using Neo, even if I'm alive on here and you're listening to him or me, not every day, not every structure, not every move is a big move or a clear move. And if he shows reluctance, I'm gonna show reluctance with him too. So, and that's what he showed today. Now, what I want to see, I just can't stay on all day today like I did last time on Friday. I'll probably do that Friday again. I might just Fridays make it where we just kind of hang out all day, but I can't do it today. But I want to see, do they just kind of float this up here and then institutions step in and bam, slam it back down? So just because he's so conflicted with that, or was it a fake out? They're showing sell pressure, thinking they're gonna slam it down, and then all of a sudden he tells me, hey, institutions are buying right now. It was a fake after all. So, but yeah, play with them, try them out, check, everything you can, ask them questions, all that stuff. So, you caught a short, good deal. And that's the cool part is I love that you said that, because I was really hoping is those who were very patient. If you notice, when he was doing his TA, he was like neutral. I'm not taking longs, but I'm not taking shorts. And then when it started to push up, right about here is when he was just like, it's not likely a trap. This looks like they're stepping in and we're going to get some expansion. And we did. So this would have been your area of profit if you were patient. And a lot of you might have took it here or here and broke your stuff, or stopped out. So, but yeah, I mean, I can ask him one more time. I'll let him up, let him give his little speech, which I'm going to change the introduction so it's not as long at times too, but let him know to keep it short and brief. So
Hey Nick, good to have you in the mix. We're watching MNQ trade in a tight range right
let's
now,
see what he
hovering
says.
right on that 30,400
Yeah, it looks like if we break
institutional
here,
support level.
it's going to
Keep
drop
your
again.
head on a swivel, because we're inside a compression zone and the market is itching for a breakout.
Where do you see the market going? Because it looks like from a higher, kind of time frame, 1 minute or so, we're just kind of forming like a lower high, but we're not really getting a full breakdown. Do you see the bears stepping in here and driving this back down? I'll do this one last update, guys, and then we're gonna jump over to options for you guys. And then yeah, you guys can do it yourself. Go in and get a free trial, and you can be
The
talking to them
market
in
is
minutes.
stuck in a compression zone right now. While those lower highs are tempting, the lack of a clean breakdown suggests the bears are currently too weak to take control. We're holding above major institutional support at 30,323, so until price kills that floor and sustains it, you have to assume the buyers are just regrouping.
And then let's okay, one last question, then I'm gonna swap to options. If we do happen to pull down, what level would we need to clear that would give the deepest expansion to the south where institutions might step in? See how I can go deep like that in a question as well. So you, one second.
If we drop, the level you need to watch is 30,323.86, which is your major institutional support zone. A
So
clean,
323.
sustained break below that floor triggers an acceleration risk where we could see a sharper move south as liquidity gets pulled toward the next institutional reaction points.
There you go. And so the options session, I don't live stream, and it's not part of the free on there because that is something I do for my mentor group primarily. I've just added it where VIP can join because you know, if you're VIP, I want you guys in there. So as far as you know, so you can see how Neo works in options. If you do the free trial, you could do that yourself. You just go in, do the free trial, type in whatever you want to do, SPY, QQQ, whatever it is, and then you'll be able to see what he does. So, but yeah, I go a little deeper into some things with the mentor group on that. So,